According to Farm Bureau's annual survey, a feast for 10 is $53.31.
Okay.
Up 14% from last year. What staples got more expensive? Dry and pricey. The cost for a 16-pound bird is $23.99. That's up 24%.
Where's the mashed potatoes? Where's the cranberry stuff?
You'll see big price jumps on fresh cranberries, sweet potatoes, canned pumpkin, and frozen pie crusts.
CBS's Stacey Lynn. What's the
I don't
best
have the
diet
brakes
for
get caught
managing
up.
type 2 diabetes? Here's Skylar Hendrick.
Following a low-calorie diet may be key for adults with type 2 diabetes. Researchers in Scotland found those diets, along with formula meal replacements, were more effective in weight management and diabetes remission than food-based diets alone.
The study is published in Diabetologica, that is the journal of the European Association to Study Diabetes. This is CBS News.
It's Dell Technologies' biggest business sale of the year with Black Friday deals on Windows 11 PCs. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign, and only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them and cannot be relied on. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at exergen.com.
Dell Technologies' biggest business sale of the year has arrived. Step up your vision with top tech up to 50% off during your Black Friday event. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Plus, get incredible savings on Windows 11 PCs, along with servers, monitors, and docks, all with
Solutions. Call 400.
That's Bad Solutions. That's it.
Get started by contacting your Dell Technologies advisor
Westwood
today
wants
at
that's all
877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fruge.
For a quick check of your roadways, right now we have a little
I need to go grab my.
on I-110, traveling southbound around Chippewa. Use some caution there. 14 minutes while Delta College, I-10 eastbound. Looks like we have some delays here, but overall it's pretty light traffic. Let's take a live look outside and check on our traffic cameras here. If you're coming in from Denham, cars are nice and spaced out, so a big improvement there. And Plaquemine Ferry is in service.
See an accident? Reported at WBRZ Traffic on Twitter.
This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get up to $250 with the purchase of 4 eligible Bridgestone Alinza tires. Visit ShawbillsTire.com to learn more.
Was there a forecast?
Well, no, there wasn't.
No, I mean, did a forecast air?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start your day with Baton Rouge's hub for information and opinion. Brian Haldane.
606 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Good morning, everybody. Brian here with you. Jake producing. We call it Mornings with Brian Haldane, and we are off and running on this, what's going to be a wet start to your Thursday morning. If you need to buffer a little extra time into your daily commute, because the next hour or two we'll have a little bit more rain, then it'll clear out for a few hours, then a little more rain, then it'll clear out and get cold. You heard the forecast from Marissa Nuzzo there just coming. I assume it was Marissa. I had to run downstairs at the last second. Whew. My apologies. It's been a hairy morning already. We this weather, I'm assuming the weather's causing it, gave us some satellite issues, and fixing those was not the easiest. So that being said, we are off and running now. We don't have to worry about satellite anymore because we brought it back home locally. You've got us for the next 3 hours, and I thank you for joining us. How cold, if you're wondering how cold it's going to be this morning or this evening, overnight lows are getting down to the 40s tonight. And tomorrow, I don't think we're going to see the 70s. Tomorrow, it looks like we're going to top out at 65, back into the 70s by Saturday. Overnight low tomorrow night and Saturday morning, 40. So this is a normal weather pattern for this time of year. A lot of repeat. It cools off, then slowly warms, then cools off, then slowly warms, and that will be the case again this year. Hey, we got a lot of ground to cover on the show this morning. The Ask the Governor show was yesterday at 2. We've got a lot for you there in our 6:30 segment and our 6:50 segment. Now, those two segments are normally reserved for Patrick Grimion. No Patty G today. No Patty G today, and here's why. He and his beautiful wife had a baby. Yes, they welcomed little Quentin into the world this week. He knew it was coming. It was any moment now when he was in last week. And we're like, well, let's hope we don't see you for a couple weeks. And that's exactly the way it's playing out. So congrats to the Grimions and their new arrival. Ask the Governor show covered a lot of ground, and we're going to talk about a ton of it as the governor shared his thoughts on redistricting. The governor shared his thoughts on on making voting easier. We're going to get into that a little bit for sure. Where we're at on COVID, the amendment that did pass, the amendments that didn't, and a whole lot more. It's a monthly call-in show, so sometimes it leaves the rails, sometimes it stays pretty close to the vest, but it's always kind of all over the place. In our 7 o'clock hour, let's talk more about insurance rates going up. Why did we see it happen? Are we going to see it happen again? And what can we do to finally put a stop to this? What can we do to finally start to see our insurance rates do what tort reform was supposed to do, or what tort reform was sold as? Now, pretty sure just about everybody said you're going to need more pieces to the puzzle. This wasn't going to be a one swing grand slam. So how do we get those other pieces of the puzzle? Tim Temple ran for insurance commissioner last time out, and he was a wealth of knowledge during the campaign. And he's going to join us at 7:15 to talk about it. Also on the show today, we've got Crimestoppers coming your way at 7:35. Sergeant Don Capola will be in. We'll see if we can't catch some bad guys. In the 8 o'clock hour, BOEM, boom. BOEM held their first oil and gas lease yesterday since the beginning of the moratorium. Mike Moncla with the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association is going to hop on the hotline at 8:15 to talk about that. What does it mean for Louisiana revenue? What does it mean for the sector overall? What does it mean for the oil and gas industry? Oh, we're going to dive in all of it. Can we see more of them? Will we expect to see more of them? What did it take to get it done? We're going to dive into all of it. That's at 8:15. And then at 8:40 this morning, we're very much looking forward to this. I am a big fan of vodka. Yeah, seriously. JT Mellick is my preferred brand locally. Also like Tito's, but JT Mellick locally. Well, the folks over at JT Mellick are now in the whiskey game. Oh, cannot wait for this. 8:40 this morning, we're going to have Mike Fruge from JT Mellick hop on the hotline, talk about moving from vodka to whiskey. Actually, we're going to back it up beyond that. Talk about moving from rice farmers to vodka to whiskey. So a Louisiana distiller is getting in the whiskey game, and whiskey could not be hotter right now than it is right now. Now's the time to strike for sure. So we'll talk a little bit about that and local distilling as well. That plus top stories and trending, that plus the outside in. Jake will have this day in history. We got a full slate coming your way throughout the morning this morning. We are coming up on our first break, though, which means we'll take a break. We'll check traffic. When we come back from that break, Ed Ogeron was on the SEC teleconference, the SEC coaches teleconference yesterday. What did he have to say there as LSU prepares for ULM? We'll dive into that next, right after we take this break on Talk 107.3 FM. Muyan. All right.
The news you want when you want it from the news team you trust.
The weather first. Breaking news. Exclusive Nakamoto investigations. And problem-solving 2 and more side stories.
There is no more waiting.
delete traffic.
WBRZ Plus on Cox 11, Channel 2, and however you stream.
Week 11 in the NFL
Okay, thank you.
continues Sunday when the Los Angeles Chargers host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tune in Sunday night at 7 on your home for Sunday Night Football. Talk 107.
I'm going to have a coffee and a Red Bull this morning.
of talk.
Terrible.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
When you've been in the industry for over 20 years, you learn a few things. For one thing, you learn your product inside and out. But you also learn how to ask the right questions.
Oh, I don't even know what's in there. I haven't even listened.
Jim's Firearms.
I'm Jay Ducote, and we are on season 2 of the Jay Ducote Show, your drive time entertainment. A little bit of news, a whole lot of fun. Join us.
There's no, just 4 upcuts. You have to go in.
Okay, hit the bumper. What are they?
Looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah.
Sage Ryan updates with question. Jordan Toll's status.
Okay.
Has he taken any time to reflect with 2 weeks left?
Okay.
Which ones do you want?
All 4.
All 4 guys.
Yep, I'll call for him. 614 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Well, it looks like our computer woes are not done yet for the morning. Our traffic is being problematic as well. So let me go ahead and do this for you. We'll check back in with Ashley Fruge as soon as humanly possible, or mechanically possible. I guess it's not a human problem; it's a computer problem. We've got slowdowns, some minor slowdowns on I-12 westbound coming in. You're going to find some slowdowns around Airline, as it looks like. Yes, that is. I-12 westbound around Airline. Not really major delays. You might just tap the brakes a little bit. And then again, as you approach the 10-12 split, on our surface streets, I'm showing one accident right now that needs to be looked out for. Nope, not an accident. Road work. There's road maintenance operations on Airline in both directions around Greenwell Street. So you might want to buffer a little bit of extra time for that as well. And again, reminding you to buffer a little extra time in your commute this morning because of the weather, as we're not quite done with the rain just yet. Getting you to sports in 60 seconds, I do want to remind you about the folks over at Mooyah. Hey, if you don't have lunch plans today, first of all, let's just get this out the way. If you don't have lunch plans yet today, swing by either location of Mooyah Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. They've got 2. They've got 2 locations. One is on Seagan, just north of Industrialplex. The other is on Bluebonnet at Highland Road. I'm probably swinging by Mooyah again tomorrow. It's kind of become a every other Friday tradition for me. Hey, they've got a number of burgers on the menu that are just fantastic, from the ranch hand to the hamburger dog to the A Wonderful, from the best case scenario to the well dunion to the indulgent barbecue. I'm a double Diablo guy, even though it's only a single Diablo at this point, but that's another story. Or if you don't like any of those, build your own. Build your own burger at either location of Mooyah Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. Seagan, just north of Industrialplex, or Bluebonnet at Highland. And right now, throughout the holiday season, catering is available. Think about this for your own office party. Think about it for your clients. The burger bar, the hamburger bar, the salad bar, or the combination of any of those 3 put together. 663-6632 is the number to call if you want to order them for catering. 663-6632, or check out Mooyah.com/catering. Ed Ogeron was on the SEC Coaches teleconference yesterday. We're going to start at the end and work backwards here. Cut 4, if you would, Jake. The coach was asked 2 weeks to go in this regular season. Has he had any time to look back on how it's all winding down?
Yeah, it's getting close, but you know what? I said I'm going to enjoy every day. Obviously, the day I got the job, be able to coach at LSU. There's so many memorable games, so many memorable players, the crowd, the fans, winning the championship, all that. But I really, for me, on a daily basis, just be able to come to work and coach for the Tigers.
I was really hoping for, no, I need to correct you. We don't have 2 games to go. We've got 3 because there will be a bowl game. But that is still up in the air. It's contingent upon beating ULM this weekend and then beating Texas A&M next weekend. How about some injury updates? How's Sage Ryan looking?
Sage Ryan back at practice yesterday. Do y'all think you might have him for the game this weekend, or is he still a ways away?
Yeah, I think he may play. I think we need to see how he does during the week. But right now, all indications are that he will play.
And as for Jordan Tolles, how are we looking?
He had to take some personal time away. He's fine. He wants to come back, and I'll let him back on the football team. It's just personal time to take away, and hopefully he can play this weekend. And
speaking of this weekend, let's go ahead and look ahead to Saturday.
Yep, we had to regroup on Monday. It was a hurting football team. Lost a tough game, saw it overtime, but our guys have bounced back. We had an excellent practice yesterday. We're looking forward to having a great showing on Saturday night against UL Monroe.
Kickoff is 8 p.m. in Tiger Stadium. Coverage on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, I believe begins at 3. That sounds right. Yeah, network pregame would begin at 6, so back time that by 3 hours. You get a 3 p.m. Pregame show. That's all on Eagle 98.1. That's for football. Basketball, women's basketball plays tonight. Kim Mulkey takes her team on the road for the first time this season. They will be at UL Lafayette, 6 p.m. tip-off time there. And on the men's side, as far as basketball is concerned, also tonight, 1 hour later, this will be on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. LSU is hosting McNeese. So tonight, a lot of basketball. You got the ladies right here on Talk 107.3 FM. You got the men right down the hall on Eagle 98.1. Going to be a busy weekend. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, COVID and the holidays. Let's talk about it. Dr. Joseph the news partners over at Louisiana Radio Network caught up with Dr. Joseph Cantor. We'll hear a little bit about that and a whole lot more coming your way. Also, got a lot of audio from the Ask the Governor show. It is a monthly call-in show right here on Talk 107.3 FM and throughout the state. We will hear a little bit of what the governor had to say on yesterday's show later on this hour. Plus, we're talking insurance with Tim Temple next hour, Crimestoppers next hour. You know how we do on a Thursday. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Let's get you to the Fox Business Report. You've got the wrong date on the YouTube. Yeah. Good morning, Christy. Oh, okay, cool. All right. I'm finding out right now. Let me run down the hall.
making any decisions? Call us at 225-343-1111 for your free consultation. You can also visit us at ocbrown.com. The law offices of OC Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Finding the right Medicare plan may feel impossible, but now it's anything but. With Walgreens Find RX coverage tool, you can compare plans online, over the phone, or in person, making Medicare easier than ever. Easier than picking which true crime doc to watch, figuring out that Wi-Fi password,
Yeah.
or putting the duvet cover back on. So if you can do those things, with Find RX coverage, you can definitely Medicare. Find the plan that's right for you by visiting walgreens.com/Medicare.
Yeah, delete traffic.
After a whole month of pro values, Lowe's Provember event is ending soon. For pros like you, still have time to save. With buy one, get one free deals on select DeWalt power tools and top values like a Spider 2-pack of 4.5-inch diamond cutoff.
Hang on a second.
Provember ends November 24th. Shop in store or at Lowe's.com/Provember. Lowe's, the new home for pros. While supplies last, U.S. only, valid 10/28 through 11/24.
What were you asking me? Is it something that's pressing right this moment, or okay? Then we'll. Coming up on 624, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Taking a look at your traffic again. It's the same traffic report, although delays have gotten a little more serious on I-12 westbound in between Airline and the 10-12 split. If you're heading into downtown from points further east, you are going to slow down a little bit on 12 westbound as you pass, well, starting before Airline. Actually, starting around Sherwood is where the delays begin. They really thicken up. I want to say that's around, is it Jefferson Highway? Yeah, they'll thicken up a good bit around Jefferson Highway and then continue on through the 10-12 split. We're also looking at some slowdowns on I-10 eastbound around the 10-12 split as well. Not nearly as bad as what we're seeing on the other side with the stuff coming in on 12 as well. Fortunately, no major surface street accidents right now, so the rest of your drive should be okay. But if your morning commute takes you via 12, buffer a little bit of time. All right. We're going to get into Ask the Governor in the next segment. Right now, though, and you're going to hear more about this in our news at the bottom of the hour, one of the concerns with COVID is that every time anybody takes their foot off the gas, we see a surge. This was true last year during the holiday season, and Louisiana Department of Health is looking out for it again as the holidays mean family gatherings. It means you're outside of your normal bubble. It means you're seeing folks that you're not seeing on a day-to-day basis. Dr. Joseph Cantor says cases of the virus, while we're looking good here in Louisiana, are still going up around the rest of the nation.
With cases surging in other parts of the country and the holidays approaching, this is an opportunity for families to add their level of protection.
Basically, if you've got family from out of state, you're probably at a little bit higher level of risk right now. I mean, we've been holding it down here, right? We're testing at less than 2% positivity. In fact, we'll have that update from the governor via the Ask the Governor show in our next segment. But Cantor says those that are eligible for booster shots might want to get that done this week, so it's got a week to kick in before heading out for Thanksgiving next week. So those that are eligible for the booster shots. Oh, by the way, side note on that, you could choose which vaccine you want, which I really don't understand this process, but it is what it is. Dr. Cantor, by the way, outlined who is eligible and encouraged those that are eligible to get a booster shot.
Anyone 18 years of age and older who completed their Pfizer or Moderna vaccine series at least 6 months ago, or anyone 18 and up who received their one-dose J&J shot at least 2 months ago.
Yeah, basically it's open to everybody at this point. Why is it a good idea to get a booster shot? I mean, if you're fully vaccinated, if you're feeling fine, you're good to go, everything seems right, why is it still a good idea to get a booster?
What we do know at this time is the effectiveness of these vaccines, although very good, does wane a little bit with time.
It does wane a little bit with time. I don't know about you, but that just makes it sound like the booster is going to be an annual thing for a while. annual, if not semi-annual. Booster shots are free of charge just about everywhere. They can be obtained where you received your initial shots. There are a number of other locations as well. We talked with the folks over at Pennington Biomedical Research Center yesterday. I got to tell you, if you want an easy-peasy process with the booster, they'd be the way to roll. I don't have a phone number for you. This isn't like a live endorsement for them, but they are a well-oiled machine when it comes to this. I don't understand the idea behind mixing and matching your boosters. Like, if you got... Well, I do if you didn't like your initial shot. Let's break this down. I got Pfizer, right? I got the first one, no side effects, no problems. My arm wasn't even sore. I got the second one, no side effects, no problems. My arm wasn't even sore. If I were to head out and get a booster today, why would I opt for anything other than Pfizer? I'm already happy with it. Conversely, if I didn't like the shots the first time, what's the likelihood that I'm getting in line to get more of them? Like, if you had an adverse reaction from your vaccine, probably not beating down the door to get a booster shot. But you can. Yeah, I enjoyed Pfizer, but we really like to try a Moderna. What do you have in a Johnson & Johnson this evening? What's on your menu? Anyway, booster shots are available for now, basically everybody who's grown up. We're going to hit CBS News here in just a little bit. Before that, got to tell you about the folks over at Baton Rouge Physical Therapy. No stranger to physical therapy. They introduced physical therapy to Baton Rouge basically 60 years ago. First shop that was up and running. And over that time, they've garnered a lot of experience, knowledge, and training. Over that time, they know exactly how to walk through all of your points of discomfort, both physically and the points of discomfort you'd have stretching out to get physical therapy. Normally, when we think of physical therapy, we think about recovering from a major injury. It's so much more than that. It's those everyday nagging pains. It's being hunched over a computer all day long. It's sitting with your knee bent the wrong way all day long, no matter what it is. You can work through it, work through your physical limitations, and get back to being your best you. But you got to be willing to work through it. That starts with a complimentary screening. 917-9185, 917-9185, or visit brptlake.com. Get back to being your best you with Baton Rouge Physical Therapy and brptlake.com. All right, quick break for news. We'll start with our local news. We'll start with CBS News, then our own local news. Traffic, hopefully, and weather as well. When we come back after news, Ask the Governor was yesterday right here on Talk 107.3 FM and throughout the state for that matter. Governor takes calls from all over the place about all kinds of topics, and we will cover as much of that ground as possible. Got an update on COVID. He talks about making voting easier. He talks about the Never Forget Garden, dialing it back to last week's Veterans Day. Oh, we'll get into all of it. That's coming your way shortly. Right now, let's get you to CBS News right here on Talk 107.3 FM, the new flavor of talk. I don't know yet. Anna's going to come show you how to ingest something so we can put in a traffic. Oh, never mind. She got it. Let me go run down there and see what's the latest. There will be a traffic. Yeah. I don't know. There you go. Okay.
Secretary of Defense Austin told him this was going to happen. Were we silent the whole time? No, it was for just a few seconds. To tell us that no one predicted they'd fall apart, but we now know phone calls existed, reporting was out there that said the Afghan army was not going to fight. Brian Kilmeade, weekday mornings from 10 to 1 on Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk. Hey, it's Dave Ramsey. You can listen to me weekdays live from 1 to 4 p.m. on Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk in Baton Rouge. Well seasoned with a fresh take on the news. Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk. Hey there, it's Lawrence Larson, host of the Lawrence Larson Show. Your source for honestly provocative talk radio.
Stop for a split second because I just played news for
Okay.
This is Talk 107.3,
All right.
new flavor of talk.
There are so many things that happen in life that are worth celebrating. Weddings, birthdays, Greek events, or just getting out of bed on a Monday morning. Well, Red Stick Social wants to help you put together whatever
What's up, T-Bob?
celebrating, whether it's big or small. There's always something to celebrate, and the holidays are right around the corner, and Red Stick Social is an awesome place for holiday parties or any corporate event. Let Red Stick Social handle the planning.
We're going to do 6 first.
Festive with your guests. Email your private event inquiries to events@redsticksocial.com or
Um,
visit redsticksocial.com to get started. Red Stick Social on government.
After that, probably redistricting.
We missed you. We know it's been tough. Because we know
If you know where you're going, like,
your
you
business
give me that,
managers,
I play it.
and we're here to help.
If you look at me, you know exactly where you're going next.
Exclusive fiber internet
Yeah, I do.
business. Rev data speeds at 30% off, plus 3 months free. We're glad you're back. We're here to make your business surge. Retail business. Talk about it for your contract for doing business services.
The third is the next thing you got, by the way.
Gotcha.
Technically, we're ahead by a lot.
What do you mean ahead?
We don't have another spot until next hour.
Okay, then I'll do them when they're supposed to air. Then that's
Look, Mom, I made jelly beans on toast. Steroid free Criso works at and below the skin surface. It blocks PDE4 enzymes, which is believed to reduce inflammation, even on the wrist of a rebel.
What did you do to your hair?
computer's still down.
Specific way Eucrisa works is not well defined. Prescription Eucrisa for mild to moderate eczema is for topical use only in ages 3 months and up. Do not use if you are allergic to Eucrisa, Crisaboral ointment 2%, or its ingredients. Allergic reactions including hives, itching, swelling, and redness may occur at or near the application site. The most common side effect is application site pain, such as burning or stinging.
Come on, moms and dads, check out Eucrisa.com and ask your doctor about Eucrisa. Can I sing one more song?
Hey, it's Mark McVay, Camp and Robbins. If you ever feel like you're going crazy, you're not. No, you're not. The rest of the world has just slipped a gear. Join us weeknights at 6 on Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk.
Six 638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Checking that traffic again, and my apologies. We've been having all kinds of computer and satellite issues throughout the morning this morning, so I'm kind of winging it, if you will. I-12 westbound, you're going to see delays moving into town. The good news is it looks like we're done with the rain for the remainder of the morning drive. So expect things to start drying out or at least stop coming down. But nonetheless, we're already seeing delays on I-12 westbound coming into town, predominantly around. Well, actually, now it looks like they're backed up. Where's Chick-fil-A and Target? Millerville. Looks like we're seeing delays on some real slowdowns 12 westbound near Millerville. Then again, as you approach the 10-12 split. So I'm trying to scroll through and take a look at 10 as well. 10's actually looking good this morning. If you're on 12 westbound coming in, there's some delays back by Denham Springs as well. Buffer yourself a little extra time on 12 right now. The rest of your drive is looking good. Ask the Governor happens the third Wednesday of every month at 2:06 p.m. That would have been yesterday. Governor John Bel Edwards has throughout his tenure as governor held his monthly call-in show, which is great. I think Mike Foster was the first one that started this with Live Mike or Hot Mike or Ask Mike or whatever it was called. But Ask the Governor, it started with Mike Foster. I don't remember if Kathleen Blanco did it. I know Bobby Jindal did not, but Governor Edwards picked it back up and is running with it. So he takes calls. They come in from all over the place about a myriad of topics. He also has some good back and forth with moderator Jim Engster, who does a fantastic job of making sure it's not just the randomness of the callers, but the news of the day that gets covered. One of those items within the news of the day would have been how we're doing with COVID. Governor John Bel Edwards giving a report card on where we're at.
Certainly, we remain in a pandemic and in a public health emergency, but we're doing better, and in some ways that are quantifiable, better than we've done since the very beginning of the public health emergency. So we actually have less than 200 people in the hospital today with COVID-19, and that's lower than at any point since we started reporting hospitalization numbers. We're very thankful. Less than 2% of all the tests we're administering are coming back positive. That's great. But at the same time, we have not had a single day since about March the 13th of 2020 when we didn't report a death. Today we're reporting 19 deaths, and we're getting very close to 15,000 deaths overall from COVID-19 here in Louisiana. So the pandemic continues. We are doing better. We've got safe and effective vaccines out there. We know we're coming up on holiday time, Thanksgiving next week, Christmas right around the corner, and New Year's and so forth. We know people are going to travel and gather. Last year when this happened, there was a big surge. There's no reason to have a big surge because of multiple reasons. Now people have had an opportunity to be vaccinated. They know how to do things safely if they choose to do that. And we have the experience of what happened last year, so we know how important it is to do it. In order to make that a little bit easier to occur, today, the Department of Health announced that anyone 18 and older can get a booster shot. And we're doing the mix and match if necessary, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't understand the mix and match part of this, but it is what it is. Now, there is something to be said for the fact that we are doing better than the rest of the nation right now. Because when it comes holiday time and everybody goes home, or back to the parents' house, provided, they're out of state or whatever, or you're bringing people in from out of state. That's where we see the intermingling, and that's where we saw numbers take a spike last year. It was I want to say it was the third surge, was right after Christmas. End of December, beginning of January, we saw the third surge. It was so far outshadowed by the fourth surge when the Delta variant hit. I mean, completely outshadowed that we've just about forgotten about it. But the hospitalization numbers did go up, the rates of positivity did go up, and the like. So there was a little bit of a bump right there for sure. Now, he did start that by saying we are doing better now than we have done at any other point during the pandemic. Up to the point where I'm looking at the map right now, where you look at community risk by parish. There are 6 parishes at the highest level of risk. Now, that's more than we saw last week. But at the same time, we've now got more parishes listed at the lowest level of risk. One that's just not even registering anymore, Vernon Parish, I don't think has any new cases. We've got the overwhelming majority of the state is at substantial to moderate risk, and more moderate than substantial. So, yeah, we are looking good. 195 COVID patients in the hospital right now. That is, like the governor said, that is the lowest since they started tracking. Now, to be fair, when they started tracking, there were 271 in the hospital. So every day is going to be the lowest every time it goes down from here. There were 16 new deaths reported yesterday and 625 new cases reported yesterday. One of the things about about the show is it's kind of all over the place. So, you know what? I'll tell you what. We'll get into some of the calls in our next segment where he talks about redistricting and whatnot. But I do want to hear from him on last weekend's elections. It's going to be cut one, Jake. Last weekend's elections, where Amendment 2 did pass, Amendment 1 did not. These are two amendments that the governor was in favor of both.
There's no doubt of the four. And look, I was openly supportive of Amendments 1 and 2. Amendment 1 would have created a streamlined sales tax collection in Louisiana at the state level, and it did not pass. I think that's regrettable. But the most important one of the day did, and that is Amendment 2, where we're going to trade off a deduction that almost no other state has in exchange for lower rates. So it's going to be revenue neutral overall. But we really take charge of our own destiny. So the Congress won't decide for us what our revenue is going to be when they raise and lower taxes.
Yeah, that wasn't us going to break. That was the show going to break at the time. There was no way to extract the bumper music from the soundbite itself, so wanted to let him finish his thought. The back part of that was the most important part, and this is why everybody was in favor of, well, it's one of the two reasons why just about everybody was in favor of 2, is because, number one, you're going to have lower income taxes to begin with. That's a good thing. If you want to compete with Texas, if you want to compete with Florida, a lower income tax rate is a good thing. But number two, we're in charge of our own destiny, or at least more so in charge of our own destiny. Not being able to deduct the federal taxes plays into that. There is one other soundbite I want to get to as well before the break, and that was the governor sounding off on the infrastructure package that just passed in Washington, D.C.
It is very heavy on traditional infrastructure. So we're going to get about $6 billion over the next 5 years in addition to what we would have ordinarily gotten for things like roads, bridges, ports, airports. And there will be more money available for us, but you're going to have to undergo a competitive process to win grants based on criteria that we haven't yet seen. But it's not just about that. It's high-speed broadband. So we're going to get at least another $100 million on that for rural broadband across the state. But there's an opportunity to get several hundred million more once the FCC finishes mapping the country to determine where there are serious gaps in access to high-speed, quality, affordable broadband. Once they make that determination, which we think that'll be done in about a year, we could get more money. And there's money there to cap orphan oil wells, and we have way more than our fair share of those in Louisiana, oil and gas wells that have been abandoned and not capped. There's money there for resiliency through CPRA, things that DEQ can do to clean up toxic sites and engage in brownfields work. And so there are tremendous opportunities. The rules are still being written, but this is going to be good for our state.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to check your money now. We're going to check traffic. When we come back, we've got more from yesterday's Ask the Governor, specifically about redistricting and a little bit about making voting easier as well. That's all coming your way next on Talk 107.3. I knew we didn't have traffic, so we weren't getting out for 47. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, let's pause it when we get to it. Except that it's not a traffic report, so it's not a traffic report. It's a spot. She can't open her traffic at all. So I'll do traffic on the way back in. All right, YouTube, my apologies, y'all. Because of this computer situation, I haven't been able to check in with y'all at all this morning. Okay, then I can knock out traffic right there. Yeah. We're not. You're going to stop it after this spot?
Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Blaze Automotive is going to do right by you.
Checking your Shawbills Tire Traffic Center. We are looking at some pretty heavy delays on I-12 westbound coming into town right now. They stack up starting around Millerville and go back from there. We'll take a look at the surface streets after this.
I'm Jennifer Kushner with Your Money Now. The Biden administration will invest billions into expanding the domestic production of COVID vaccines.
We've got about 2 more minutes
Intended to
after
build manufacturing capacity with the goal of producing an additional 1 billion doses per year. In the long term, the ramp-up would help to establish sustained domestic manufacturing capabilities in order to prepare for any future threats. UPS and Waymo are teaming up to test autonomous freight trucks. The Alphabet-owned self-driving vehicle startup will conduct trial runs over the next few weeks using a Waymo Via Class 8 truck equipped with Waymo driver technology. The trial runs will take place in Texas, where a Waymo driver will deliver for UPS's North American air freight unit between facilities in Dallas and Houston. Shares of Victoria's Secret up 14%. After the empowerment reported quarterly profit above estimates, and says partners with suppliers are keeping supply chain issues at bay. That's Your Money Now.
Get a jump on planning your meals for those busy work and school nights with Omaha Steaks. They have all your fall grilling covered with easy, delicious, quality meals delivered straight to your door.
right now,
Go
or
to omahasteaks.com and type quality in the search bar.
What?
Shop the deluxe
pulled off a fancy shade.
Oh, yeah, no. We talked about this one time.
Mignons, filet mignon, burgers, gourmet jumbo franks, sides, and so much more. Plus, when you use code QUALITY, you'll save over 50% on your order, and you'll get 12 free Omaha Steaks burgers. These are basically
Yeah. I thought it was show related.
make memories with your family and friends and give them an experience they will truly cherish. Omaha Steaks. It's just steak. It's the
All right. 1, 2, and 6 are gone, so it's going to go 3, 5, and then 4.
Do you want to touch on these again later in the show?
I doubt it, unless a guest doesn't show.
delicious meal with the ones you love. That's omahasteaks.com. Keyword quality.
King's Sportsbook is coming soon to Louisiana. It won't be long until you can bet on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home. To celebrate, DraftKings
3, 5, 4.
$100 in free bets when you sign up before they go live. No deposit required. DraftKings is bringing their experience as a leader in daily fantasy sports to the sports betting world and have created one of America's top-rated sportsbook app, DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code LA Sports when you sign up. Those who sign up right now will get $100 in free bets to use once mobile sports betting hits Louisiana. That's code LA Sports to get $100 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP. 7867. 21 and over. Louisiana only. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, GoRoof.com.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-519-0449. That's 1-800-519-0449. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-519-0449.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details of example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
654 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Going to get to as much of this audio from Ask the Governor from yesterday as possible. Over to a couple of the phone calls that they took during the show. The first was from the first one we're going to touch on was from a woman in Baton Rouge named Piper, who asked about redistricting and what the governor's role is when it comes to redistricting.
So obviously the census was done in 2020. The data came out, I think, in usable form September the 15th. There will be a redistricting session of the legislature, a special session in the month of February. Given the census and where people live and the numbers, obviously a number of districts have to be revised, and so you're going to see that effort. Everything from the Louisiana Senate and the Louisiana House, Public Service Commission, Bessie, you name it. The central premise that I work under, and I've said this many times, Piper, is we need to have a fair system where the map is not configured in a way that just befuddles people, but that it makes some sense, and we want a fair map so that the voter has a reasonable chance of choosing their representatives rather than representatives choosing their voters. And obviously, you as governor, you hope that you can work with the legislature and others to create legislation that doesn't need to be vetoed. That is always an option. And so I will veto bills that I believe suffer from defects in terms of just basic fairness. And we want to make sure that we don't have packing and cracking, and those are terms of art, but we'll be working with all of the folks in the legislature in order to make sure that we can accomplish that.
Be ready for that phrase to just be the norm. Voters choosing their representatives rather than representatives choosing their voters. Be ready for that to just be repeated ad nauseum. And, oh, yes, when it comes to the special session, we will be dialed in every single day with guests every day from inside the Capitol to talk about it. Now, also, when it comes to redistricting, be ready for the complaints to start coming in before it even gets started. In fact, last week, and the topic of this column was not about redistricting, but Will Sutton over at The Advocate or NOLA.com, well, I guess I'm reading it from NOLA.com, Will Sutton penned a column, Louisiana census was wrong, and if we don't fight it, we lose big in federal cash. Sutton, in his column, is talking, it was November 8th that this was published, so it was a week ago, or 2 weeks ago almost, last Monday. Not this past Monday, but Monday before. He's talking about, in his column, the amount of federal dollars that were going to come our way because of infrastructure. But get ready for it. If people are going to start poking holes in the census, and the census was wrong, that's going to affect redistricting as well, and it's going to lead to some big, big fights. Back to Ask the Governor. I want to get one more in here. And Ezra in New Orleans called in to ask about making voting easier.
Ezra in New Orleans. Hello, Ezra. You're on Ask the Governor.
Hi, Mr. Governor. Hey, how y'all doing? First of all, congrats on the 2-year anniversary of your election. But my question was actually about elections. We got like 13% turnout in the recent amendment vote we just had there. And for a lot of folks, it's real difficult to vote on a Saturday. Our Jewish and Seventh-day Adventist friends, and, early voting ending before Election Day makes it really difficult for folks to vote. So I don't know if you had any ideas on how we can resolve this issue, extending early voting, mail-in voting, even changing the voting day from Saturday potentially.
Yeah, well, thank you, Ezra. And, of course, I believe that we should do everything we can within reason to make it easier for people to vote. We now have a number of days of early voting. It's a full 7 days. It's a Saturday, followed by Monday through Friday, and another Saturday. And for presidential elections going forward, there will be 3 additional days of early voting on top of that.
You know what? The governor goes on, and I'm just going to cut that answer off because the governor's way too patient with a call like that. No, Ezra, here's what we're going to do. We're going to call you. We're going to text you. Calling's too hard. We're going to text you and find out what's good for you. There's 7 full days of early voting and the full day on Election Day. There's absentee voting. There's mail-in voting. The works. At a certain point, someone's got to say, stop it. Can we come to your house, Ezra? Can we just bring a voting machine over to you and get you to handle your business on your time, whenever you would like? This is we go through this every single month. I love the fact that the governor takes calls about everything under the sun, but there are certain items that just no. Can you just say no? All right, we're out of time. We're going to get to the CBS News here at the top of the hour. We'll be back. Hour 2 is coming your way next.
Can help you get it at a price you can afford.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. Oh, this is the weather. Okay. It's like, damn, did we get traffic back?
Yeah, we did.
We did?
Yeah.
Or was it spots again? I'm just going to do it. Okay. .706 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Jake producing. Appreciate y'all tuning in, sticking around this morning. We've kind of a disjointed first hour. We've been having some computer issues before the hour even started. We were having satellite issues. Working through it. We're getting there. Live radio, it happens every once in a while. Hey, quick traffic update, part of the computer issues we've been having. Slowdowns on I-12 westbound this morning, all the way in from Denham Springs. It's going to be stop and go in Denham, around Millerville, and then again around Airline. We're also starting to see delays on 10 westbound approaching the 10-12 split as well. Surface streets, we've got a couple of accidents to look out for. Got a crash in the roadway, 2700 Florida Street. That's close to Eugene, I believe. Also, a hit and run in the roadway up in Zachary, near, what does it say, 6400 Slaughter. And then bringing it back into Baton Rouge, Highland Road. There's another crash in the roadway, 5045 Highland Road. That is by DePlanche Boulevard, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll continue to check traffic throughout the morning. Hopefully we'll get our issues resolved and be able to check in with Ashley Fruge. In the meanwhile, we'll just continue to hold it down. All right, hour 2 coming your way right now. We're going to talk insurance in our next segment. Tim Temple's in the house, going to hop on board to talk about the tort reform that was passed. Is it too soon to even give a review of it? But it's not going to be the end-all, be-all to lower our insurance rates. There's going to be a number of pieces of the puzzle that are needed in order to be able to see what's within the puzzle. What are those other pieces? What needs to get done? That's coming your way in our next segment. Also, we've got Crimestoppers. Don Coppola is going to be on the hotline at 7:35 for that. Right now, it's time for Top Stories and Trending. Let's roll. The Office of Motor Vehicles location in Baton Rouge is temporarily closed due to COVID-19 precautions. The department announced the closure yesterday evening due to one person, one of the 12 employees, testing positive for the virus. Per their COVID protocols, any unvaxxed employees who were exposed have to quarantine and test before returning to work. That location will remain closed until further notice. In the meanwhile, if you had appointments, visit expresslane.org. To move things around and get yourself taken care of. Entergy Louisiana told utility regulators yesterday they owe up to $4.4 billion for getting the lights back on after a string of storms and needed a $1 billion loan to meet those costs in the short term. The Advocate was reporting that the utility company, which provides electricity to about half of Louisiana's power customers, eventually may boost customer charges anywhere from $11 to $15 per month to pay the debt over a span of up to 15 years, up by $15 a month over the course of 15 years. The costs of getting the lights back on after a storm are paid by utilities' customers, but the analysis of what charges are prudent take time. So the Public Service Commission is looking at the official order before they can actually add the amount onto your bill. EBR schools mask mandate will be going away next semester, or so it would appear. School system says they're going to end their masking requirement in January as long as the case count continues to move downward. Within their announcement, they said the East Baton Rouge Parish School System announced Wednesday that if the current downward trend of COVID-19 positivity rate persists, masks will be optional when students and staff return on January 4th of 2022. Upon the advice of our Health Advisory Committee, comprised of leading physicians and infectious disease experts, if the district's positivity rate continues to decline or remains at 0.5% through the fall semester, it will be acceptable to allow optional masking through East Baton Rouge Parish Public School System. So, yes, after they all go home for the holidays and get outside their bubbles, that's when they'll come back without their masks on. A homeless man charged in a home invasion where a 75-year-old woman was raped at knife point was previously sentenced to 10 years in a Florida prison for trying to strangle a woman. In 2011, the Leon County Sheriff's Office reported Conway Tullier was arrested after a deputy spotted him attacking a woman along a roadway. Tullier fled when he saw the deputy, but was apprehended shortly afterward. After Tullier was convicted in that attack, he spent just under 8 years in a Florida prison before being released January of last year. Arrest records show Tullier was then arrested earlier this month when a caretaker at the LSU Rural Life Museum found Tullier in his on-site home. The caretaker confronted Tullier, followed him until officers arrived to take him into custody. He was released 2 days after that. Then the alleged rape occurred. Tullier is currently being held without bond in the East Baton Rouge Parish Jail. BRPD has an arrest in connection with a Harry Drive homicide. The homicide happened Monday night. According to Baton Rouge Police, 33-year-old Peter Chambers is behind bars for the death of Eric McCrae. Authorities say McCrae, 39 years old, was shot to death around 8:20 p.m. Monday in the 6800 block of Harry Drive. Police say when they got to the scene of the crime, they found McCrae suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital. He passed at the hospital. Chambers was charged with second-degree murder, illegal use of a weapon, and felon in possession of a firearm. That's your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending this morning. Another day of deliberations. You know, every Wednesday we have Franz Borghardt on for Legally Served, and he talks about how deliberations in Louisiana, they're over with before they start. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse's attorneys asked not the case up in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We're moving into another day. In the meanwhile, Kyle Rittenhouse's attorneys asked the judge to declare a mistrial even as the jury in the murder case was deliberating Wednesday, saying the defense received an inferior copy of a potentially crucial video from prosecutors. Judge Bruce Schroeder did not immediately rule on the request, the second mistrial motion from the defense in a week. The jury deliberated a second full day yesterday without reaching a verdict. They will return to the courtroom this morning. That's your top stories and trending. Quick break. When we come back, Tim Temple talks insurance next. All right, come on in. You're here? Appreciate you coming in. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been one butthole of a morning this morning. We had satellite issues at 4:30, 5:30, 5:50. Like, I think it was the weather.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Weather-driven or equipment?
Probably. But it's crazy, though. We've had way worse weather and not lost a satellite.
Right.
You know. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, so after the weather issues, our traffic comes from our news partners at WBRZ.
Okay. So they push it to you?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The computer that has that shared drive built into it, like we could probably build the shared drive into more computer, but the one that has it built into it, the whole computer's down.
So you're having to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. That's why you make the big bucks.
Yeah. Just let me know when I'm going to see those. So you've already announced?
I have not announced.
Okay. Somebody told me you had. Okay. All right.
They had Rick Ward on yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, he was talking about. His tweet wasn't just about insurance.
Right.
It was just in general. And
whole legislative
I
process.
would love to see that conversation continue. I would love to see a day where a politician can promise you something reasonable and deliver on something reasonable rather than everything being,
sound bites.
Yeah. Not just sound bites, but like everything being a complete total jackpot. You know, like, yeah, it just.
And that's part of what I've got to say.
$7:15 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Want to welcome back to the studio for the first time in a good minute, Tim Temple. Tim, what's happening, man?
Good morning, Brian. I was just saying, you're looking real good.
I appreciate that. Dropped a few pounds, you know, feeling good. You're looking very good as yourself. It's been a minute since you've been around. But when this headline popped up earlier this week, I'm like, there's no way I'm not calling my guy here. He's got to get back on and fire off about this because. For those that don't know, Tim ran for insurance commissioner last time around and brought a lot of really good points to the conversation, a lot of really good fire to the This is the last time I've been fired up about an insurance race, for sure. It was the first time, I should say.
I was definitely fired up about it.
Yes, you were. And we're going to keep that fire rolling, especially with the way things have transpired this week. So, headlines early this week as insurance rates are going to go up again.
I've been paying close attention to those, and you're right. You know, I think that Commissioner's been called out on some statements he's made in the past, and you know, Brian, I think there's a path forward to lower insurance rates.
Yes,
not just for auto, but you know, for homeowners, which we're seeing those come up in commercial auto. But you know, some things have to be addressed. You know, we need to have some realistic, we need to set some realistic expectations. I think we need to be more transparent. And when we're talking about insurance, and then we need to stop with all the misdirect that goes on.
Okay, let's pause that right there to dial in a different conversation as well. I had State Senator Rick Ward on yesterday, and he was talking about how we are in a place right now where the conversation involves constantly overpromising on things you can't deliver on. But a lot of that has to do with us as a populace, us as an electorate, not being able to accept reasonable goals and reasonable solutions. If a politician or if an elected official takes an L, like we want to throw them out immediately. Not everybody goes undefeated. Not everything is a win-win-win. Can we get to a point where the insurance commissioner could say, yeah, it's not going to be all, you know, sunshine and roses. You're going to have to deal with some, for example, homeowners insurance is going to be a struggle because of where we live. But if we're told anything is going to be anything short of the optimum, we're all up in arms, like, from jump.
Well, and I think, you know, a lot of times people vote because they vote for what they want to hear, for the person that's saying what they want to hear.
Right.
And then when that doesn't come to fruition, you know, a lot of people will say, you know, time heals all wounds, and, you know, people tend to forget. But,
yes,
you know, tort reform and expectations. And I did listen to Senator Ward yesterday, and I saw his tweet, and I appreciated what he had to say. And, you know, setting expectations is very important. And here's an analogy. You've got back pain. You've got chronic back pain. It hurts. It's debilitating. And a doctor comes to you and says, look, I've got a medical procedure I would like to do on you, and I predict it's going to lower your pain by 25%.
Right.
And you may say, well, you know, 25% is not a lot, but it's better than what I got right now, so I'm in. I'm going to do it. You do the procedure. You wait 6 months to get better, to heal, and then you wait another 12 months, and you see the doctor. It's 18 months since you've done the procedure. And you say, hey, doc, my pain has not gotten any better. As a matter of fact, it may have gotten a little bit worse.
Right.
And the doctor goes, well, you know, that prediction, it was really a guess.
Yeah.
That's what we experienced back in 2020 with the tort reform.
Okay.
By Commissioner Donlin specifically. He's been called out. I've read the newspaper article. You have too. You know, they said he promised rate reductions. I think promised is too strong a word. He predicted.
Okay.
Now he's saying he guessed. Goes back to expectations. You got to set the expectations. Those legislators look at the Commissioner of Insurance when he's testifying as, I mean, he's carrying the weight of his office when he testifies.
Yeah.
He predicted. He can't get out of it. It's on video. It's set. He predicted 25%. Predictions are based on knowledge or experience. Now he's being called out, and they're saying, where's the 25%? He says today, oh, that was really a guess. That's not fair to the legislators when they're trying to vote on something that they're telling their constituents, the outcome's going to be X, and it's not, and it was sold as a prediction. Now it's a guess, and now he's misdirecting.
Okay, is the game over though? And I asked that because of this. We went from that session into a pandemic, into a lockdown or stay-at-home orders and whatnot. A lot of people were reduced in the workforce, so School was at home as well. So the amount of driving went way, way down. So insurance rates went down initially. Then we go from that into inflationary times, and now insurance rates are going back up. Is it too soon for us to be looking at this? Should we be looking at this through like a 5 or 10 year scope rather than a year and a half?
Well, you're right that insurance is it's a long, insurance companies typically look at 3 to 5 year swaths of information. They don't just change on a dime, because of the wind, changes direction. But, yes, we need to have a plan, and that's what we don't have.
Right.
The tort reform was a good step.
Okay.
I'll say that again. It was a good step, but it was sold as a silver bullet.
Right.
And the commissioner said it many times. There is no silver bullet to that. And that part is right. But he sold it as a silver bullet by saying it's 25%. It was a good first step, but it was not an end all be all. And that's where we lost the momentum. We need to not just look at tort reform. We need to look at what other factors drive rates in Louisiana. And rates did not go down, I don't believe, last year. Drivers went down, right? And we got, I think I heard, $200 million rebate or credits. So,
I'm
it's not
oversimplifying
really,
it. Yeah.
Rates didn't go down. I think they stayed about the same. But drivers are coming back. More people are on the road. We are going to start seeing more fatalities, more DWIs, things that drive accidents. We have bad roads. Like I said, let's create a plan. Let's develop tort reform. We've taken some steps. Let's continue to look and see if additional tort reform or civil justice, whatever it's called, needs to be done. But let's look at what creates accidents. What creates bad drivers? Roads are number one, right? I mean, you drive on a bad road, it increases the likelihood of having an accident. Hopefully, some of this infrastructure money, we say, that's a long-term fix.
Right.
But it's part of the solution. Let's advocate for better roads. Let's advocate for more driver's education. The better a driver you start off when you're 15, 16, I think the better a driver you're going to be long term. Let's look at DWIs. That's another cause of we have a higher number of DWIs than the national average. We have the worst roads in the country, I would argue. Let's look at those things that we can control and we can fix and create a long-term strategy and not just shot in the dark, let's see if this works.
So, but part of a long-term strategy, that tort reform that would pass would be a piece of that, would it not?
Certainly. It is a piece.
Okay, because there's been a lot of talk this week that rates went up because of.
Well, but back to expectations. We need to have an honest conversation, as we were saying earlier, and make the statement, look, call it a prediction, call it a I believe. If it's a guess, say it's a guess. But again, just because you're guessing doesn't mean we shouldn't do something. But let's have those transparent conversations. Let's have conversations with the industry. Let's have, and ask them what drives. If it's tort reform, then give us some hard evidence on what needs to be changed, so that when you go back to the legislature and you ask if it's a law that needs to be changed or modified, and you're asking those folks to vote on something that they're telling their constituents is going to, equal X as far as rate reduction or premium reduction. They're voting with some knowledge and not just someone guessing.
Yeah. And the hardest part about this, Tim, is the idea that the public would accept a guess as a guess. And for example, someone could walk away from this interview right here saying Tim Temple says better roads will lead to less lower car insurance rates, and you'd have the pull quote right there from your answer. But you said so much more than that. But what will carry the day, what will run, is those 6 seconds versus the rest of this 14 minutes.
Right, and that's why we got to have continuing dialogue on this.
Oh, yeah.
We can't just look at insurance once every, right before session, and then maybe once or twice after a storm, impacts our state. It needs to be, and that's why I said we have to develop a statewide plan.
Yeah.
Get all the stakeholders in there. And I know we've had task force in the past, and I think the one that just I believe it was Monday. Just concluded. They met twice, I think, in the last 2 years. That doesn't seem like a lot. And they left with no recommendations.
Yeah.
I don't think the task force is a solution. It's got to be driven, I believe, from the department with input from other agencies, other stakeholders.
Yeah.
Again, it can't just be once or twice a year. This needs to be a continuing dialogue to figure out what we can do to drive rates lower. Because I'm not going to accept that Louisiana is just the most expensive state in the country for auto and just kind of shrug my shoulders and say, yeah, that's just kind of who we are.
It is
That's not right.
on par with the humidity for people to get used to when they get here. I mean, it is 1 and 1A.
Well, you know, and you say get used to, you know, in Louisiana, a large number of people spend a disproportionate number or amount of their income on insurance.
Mhm.
We're the least affordable. Not only are we the most
Totally.
expensive, we're the least affordable. And those
Right.
are two different things.
What? So at least affordable goes to median income as well, and those that are in the game because of minimum coverage, but minimum coverage is very low as well, which affects our rates on the other end too.
That's correct. And I know yesterday Senator Ward talked about, you know, the minimum limits issue.
Yeah.
And that's hard. You want people to have more coverage. And it
But you're
helps
going to
them,
price
it
the
helps
poorest
you,
out of the market to where
but
they don't have it.
because we're the most expensive,
Right.
it directly impacts, you know, the lower income disproportionately.
Yes.
And that's part of that would be an effect of a cause. If we can cause rates to go down, then an effect would be people could afford more insurance.
Yes.
It's complex.
Yes,
right?
and it's weird because that's one of the pieces of the overall puzzle that you can't. You're going to have your cake and eat it too in order to get both of those things to work at the same time. One of the things I asked Senator Ward about was the horse trading that goes on. Is there any horse trading that goes on between homeowners versus, like, you have a bigger insurance company like a State Farm or somebody, in order to get them to do policies for homeowners? Do we offer them the flexibility to go up on the car insurance side? Is that a thing? I've read about it before. It's never sat right with me.
You know, I don't. Well, there's bundling. You know, obviously, if you place your homeowners and your auto with a particular carrier, a lot of times they will give you a credit.
Okay.
But as far as what drives their rates,
no.
You'd have to ask the commissioner on that one.
No.
He gets to peek behind the curtain on that.
And now you get all the things involved on the roads, and add all the things involved with flooding, all the things involved with storms and damage mitigation and whatever. It's the puzzle gets very, very big, and we can't be promised something in a 6-second soundbite anymore.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's why we need to focus on holding. And I'm just going to again, I'm talking about the Commissioner of Insurance, but you can apply it to all elected officials, but specifically to Commissioner Donald, because he's the guy. We need to do a better. He needs to do a better job of setting expectations.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Don't be afraid to say it's a guess if it is.
We get vilified if they do.
I think
though.
we've got a lot of elected officials out there that are like that, and I hope we have more. You know, I mean, we need that. I'm not going to give up and just say, oh well, they're just going to say whatever they need to say. There's certainly a group of people that are like that, but I think we need to encourage more people to run that are willing to speak their mind and not be afraid to say, I don't have the silver bullet.
I mean, see, this is going to be a conversation we're going to have to carry on for a long time, because is that winnable? Can you win? In order to be in the position to say I didn't know, you have to have won the seat to begin with. And in order to get to that, can you promise people can you promise people that you're not promising? Is that even possible?
I don't think that's a reason not to try.
Sure. No, I'm with you too. I'm so with you.
I heard there was another radio host. I was driving to Lake Charles a couple weeks ago, and he was Lafayette radio host, popular big show over there. And he had a 5-point plan for the next governor to win.
Okay.
And you can go look and see what the 5 were. But then he also says, but I don't think a person could win governor running on these 5 points.
Yeah.
So back to your point. I mean, look, I'm with you. I agree. I don't think it's a reason though, for people not to run. You got to have good people in government. You got to have people that are willing to try things different and not just do things because it's been done for the last 50 years a certain way. And we've got some good people in the legislature that do that.
No, we absolutely do.
They certainly are willing to tackle insurance reform when needed, but I think they need to be made aware of when things could be, maybe, should be, guessing, and that's only fair to them and their constituents.
100%. All right, tort reform's a piece. Better roads, better drivers, continuing education. Not just driver's ed, but continuing education.
Continuing education, distracted drivers. I mean, we don't have, in Louisiana, we don't have any more distracted drivers than any other state.
Right.
But I think we need to look at the laws and see, I don't know that we discourage distracted driving.
I'm with you. I'm so with you on that one.
And I know you get the argument, well, you're taking my freedom away to, read my text while driving. I don't think that's a good argument. But
It's not.
But it's safety. I mean, that's why we force people to wear seatbelts, right?
Right.
Because it's good for them, but it's also good for the other people in other vehicles. So, I mean, there's things like that. Distracted driving is one. Fraud. Louisiana, we have a lot of fraud that goes on.
Yeah, we do.
And I think that we need to look at that. It's commercial. We've seen a lot of that in the commercial trucking sector. In New Orleans, you've got, there's some ongoing cases down there where they've gotten these organized
Those
groups,
cases are crazy.
and they're
Yes.
millions and millions of dollars. The state needs to get super aggressive in that. We need to funnel more money toward, the fraud investigations. We need to either look at the laws and see if there's ones that can be tweaked to encourage insurance companies to report fraud, or make it easier regulatory-wise for them to report fraud. Let's look at that. There's a lot of things that can be done, but that needs to be part of the conversation as well.
What kind of timeline would we be looking at to get everything done? And can you get everything done if it's going to be one piece at a time?
Yes, you can get everything done.
Okay.
I certainly believe that. Like I said, I am not going to accept that Louisiana is the most expensive auto, place in the country, and that we're just destined to be that. That's not right at all. We can work on things, but the expectation is it's not going to be overnight.
Right.
Like I said, insurance companies tend to look at things in multi-year swaths. So we have to pass some laws, tweak some regulations, to start to impact that, so that the insurance companies can then start seeing trends. That's
Right.
what they look at. What's their loss trend? And when that starts happening, you'll see insurance companies start, one, lowering rates, and two, competition. That's something we hadn't talked about either.
We're out of time too. But yeah, competition is a big part of this, and that's one where you and Insurance Commissioner Donilon are completely on the same page.
Well, I think his version of competition and mine are two different. He settles for a lot less than what I would, and as far as what numbers we need to see.
I should not have let you drop that in with no time left, because we have so much more to unpack.
I'll come back again.
Yes, you will. He is Tim Temple. We greatly appreciate the time, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your listeners' time, too.
Absolutely. Time for news, traffic, weather, then we're right back at it for Crimestoppers next. That's on me. I just opened up a whole new chapter. We're still on YouTube, so we're always on YouTube.
Competition is.
It is.
We
It is.
definitely need to. And one of the things, and to the YouTube crowd out there listening, we need to. Louisiana does a good job with ITEP and tax reform, which I appreciate your efforts on the Constitutional Amendment 1 and 2, bringing those to attention.
Man,
that was
a tough beat.
The state pulled together really well on that. They just had, the headwind was against us on Constitutional Amendment 1. But look, like I said, the state does some things to. We identify oil and gas as an industry. We want, it's here. We want to encourage it. We do everything we can to keep it here and make it profitable. We do ITEPs. We do tax reform. There's a lot of things. We need to look at that with an insurance lens and say, what laws? I mean, there's some things out there. There's some laws with regards to taxes in other states, regulations. I mean, from what I understand from people in the industry, we're not an easy state to do insurance business in.
Right. So that
that's
goes
part of
beyond
that conversation.
That goes beyond the transactional relationship of insured and insurer. So what you're saying is, if you can reduce cost of doing business from a regulation end or
from a regulatory standpoint, you'll get more people that want to come in. We had 350 insurance companies writing homeowners before Katrina. Today we have 132.
Yeah.
And the commissioner says, "Oh, I've brought 30 back into the state."
Well, a lot of them just straight up went out of business too, though.
But the top 10 write 40% of the market.
Yeah.
The top 20 write 70% of the market. In Florida, which lots of exposure, lots of property values, they've got 2 coasts that get hit by hurricanes. The top, it's 52 companies write. Yeah, 52 companies write 70% of the market there. And that doesn't even sound like a lot, but it's a lot better than 20.
Yeah.
So if you're a homeowner, you got 52 companies to select if you're in that top 70%, right? Versus here, you got just a handful. So we've got to work on bringing more companies. And I'm not talking about the takeout companies for Louisiana citizens. That's not what we're focused on. We're talking about mainline companies that want to write and compete with the big guys, the top writers. And we got to look and see whether it's a law or regulation. Why is our market written by, just a few? I've got a couple of ideas, and I have a couple of reasons I think why, but that's part of it. We have to, but that's part of that rolling conversation we need to have. You can't just focus on auto. You got to have a conversation about auto and homeowners and commercial trucking and workers' compensation, and
in order to get them, they need all the business.
So it's like I said, it's complex, and you're right, and that's why it's 6-second sound bites, because at the end of the day, the average person out there, Joe Public, wants to know how much is my insurance premium that I got to write that check for, whether it's every week or every month, and how fast are you going to pay my claim when I have one?
Yeah.
That's all somebody wants to hear.
Right.
The rest of it is like, whoever had the best sound bite, that's who I'm going to vote for, and hopefully that'll work.
Yeah, whoever promised me the most in the shorter, and if they failed on that promise, I'm just going to vote them out and vote for somebody else who's going to promise me tomorrow.
Or maybe not vote for that same, or maybe they will continue to vote for the same person.
Because they're going to promise me even more the second time around, and it's eventually you get tired of putting P.T. Barnum in office.
Right. And I think that's what we got to get, and that's what I tried to tackle in 2019. Lessons learned on some things, but it's not just a quick fix.
No, I know,
and that's what everybody wants to hear.
That's the hardest part is, the hardest part is we believe in immediate gratification and quick fixes.
But no, I appreciate. Look, I'd love to come back and talk some more.
Let's make this a regular thing. Let's make
like
this.
I said, look, I'm not prepared to officially announce my candidacy. Is my statement.
Well, as long as you're prepared to unofficially announce your candidacy.
But no, if you have me back, I'd be love to come back and talk again what we just talked about, or whatever the flavor of the month, whatever you want.
Let's try to keep it. We'll try to keep it headline driven, because I mean I'm sure they're going to come up again.
It is.
So
this is going to be an issue. And the other thing now, homeowners. That's another thing. I mean, look, homeowners. It's not about that. For the most part, people are being taken care of.
Yeah.
The majority.
Oh, are we back? Okay. I got to get. Yeah. No. Hey, I'll be in touch very soon. Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. Do what? Okay. Yes, it is time for Crime Stoppers. Time to welcome in Sergeant Don Coppola. Don, welcome aboard, sir. How are you, man?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. How are you today?
I am doing very well. So I've got you on the phone today. Oh, man.
Yes. I hate not being there. Had some things come up, but
it's all good.
Better to be on the phone than not at all, right?
Absolutely. So we're catching some bad guys today, or are we taking a different route?
No, we're going to catch some bad guys, and we're going to put some make mention of some unsolved crimes that are out there. But so we're going to start off with a Gonzales PD case. Gonzales police officers are looking for Charles Ray Johnson Jr., 20 years old, on the charges of attempted second-degree murder, 2 counts. I don't have any details or particulars regarding that investigation, but Gonzales investigators began Charles Ray Johnson Jr., 20 years old, wanted on attempted.
Well, your phone's kind of bugging out on you there. You disappeared. It sounded like you stepped into a well. Repeat that.
Hey, you there?
There you are. Go ahead.
Hey. Charles Ray Johnson Jr., wanted by Gonzales police officers, investigators on the attempt second-degree murder, 2 counts.
Charles Ray Johnson Jr. This is he in Gonzales, you said, correct?
Yes, Gonzales investigators are looking for the
do you know when this happened?
This was earlier this year.
Okay.
Around April of this year, this occurred.
Homicide in Gonzales, wanted on 2 counts. Who else we got today?
We have Joseph Green, wanted by East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. Joseph is 20 years old. It's believed that October of this year, he was in the Gardier area noticed a victim who was attempting to enter her vehicle to start her day,
Okay.
proceed to work. He then confronts this individual with a firearm in hand, demands her purse. Victim, of course, screams, looking for help. She's able to get away, try to run into her residence for her safety. Well, it's believed that Green, besides taking her purse, also noticed the keys to her vehicle were inside the purse, and he took the vehicle as well.
So it went from a purse snatching to auto theft at that point.
Yeah, he's wanted on the charges of armed robbery. Victim was able to pick him out of a photo ID. So anyone with information on the whereabouts of Joseph Green, contact Crimestoppers.
Absolutely. You can contact Crimestoppers at 344-STOP, 344-STOP, or on the website. Who else are we looking for?
Last one we have is San Sanyang. Hassan Sanyang, wanted by the Baton Rouge Police Department on charges of attempt first degree murder, illegal use of a weapon, and aggravated criminal damage to property. It's believed this happened earlier this month, on Red Oak Drive. It's believed that San had went to the residence, knocked on the front door. The victim did not open the door to let him in. He leaves, comes back, and fires shots into the residence. Luckily, no one was injured. They had a child inside the residence along with the victim. After the shooting, he leaves. So again, Baton Rouge police are looking for him regarding this crime on charges of attempt, first-degree murder, illegal use of a weapon, and aggravated criminal damage to property.
This sounds like you knew the guy.
It's believed that he knew, maybe not the victim at the time, but someone within that residence for something, because nobody would just walk up to a house, knock on the door, leave, and then come back and fire shots into the residence.
Right. This definitely sounds like there was a score to settle. Yeah.
It's believed there's something more to this. So anyone knowing the whereabouts on Hassan Sanyang, contact Crimestoppers so investigators can put those pieces together.
Sergeant Don Capola is our guest. This is our Crime Stopper segment. Don, how often is that the case where you'll come to find out along the way? And I'm just working under the assumption that that's the case this time. But how often is that the case where these sorts of crimes you find out after the fact that, yeah, the victim and the accused, they knew each other ahead of time. This started well before the actual crime took place?
This is something that you see on occasion. I'm not going to say it's all the time, but you do see from time to time that there's some past relationship or past acquaintance between the victim and the suspect. Doesn't make it right, but it's something that you do see.
No, it certainly doesn't make it right, but it does give you all, well, I don't want to say a pathway to finding them in an easier fashion, but in these in cases like this, is the victim, are there times where the victim's more hesitant because they know the person? Like they want the crime reported, but at the same time they might hold back on what they know.
I would think in cases like this where you have shots fired into your residence, and there is a knowledge of one another, well, the victim would be more inclined to help investigators with whatever information they may have on this individual in attempts to have them apprehended.
Does that normally lead to an arrest? Are we normally able to see that this is it plays out and it's beneficial to y'all?
Well, whatever information the public has,
either
the victim or, in this case, the contact Crimestoppers and whatever information to lead to this arrest or any arrest of these individuals I mentioned. Of course, any little bit helps.
Of course, and if you're in a situation like, well, not in a situation like this, but you see a situation like this, how difficult is it to get people to, how should I put this, stop minding their own business and mind somebody else's? I mean, these people have neighbors. These people have, people that might be walking up and down the street or driving on their way to work or whatever the case might be. How tough is it to get that message across that just because this wasn't your house doesn't mean that you need to keep yourself removed from the situation?
Well, Brian, it's very easy, and we want people to get in other people's business and give us information on these crimes or information on the whereabouts of these wanted individuals, because Crimestoppers, again, is anonymous. So you have no fear of retaliation. We do protect your anonymity, so no one will know. So we want you to get into your neighbor's business. We want you to get into other people's business. Pick up the phone, P3 app, give us the information so these individuals can be found and apprehended.
It's been a minute since we've talked about the P3 app. For those that are unfamiliar, what is the P3 app? How can folks get it, and how can they use it?
P3 app, P3 Tips. You download it on your Apple or Android device. It's free. It's an anonymous app that you can communicate with Crimestoppers. You can also send pictures and videos through this app. Again, everything is anonymous, and all we want is that information to get into investigators' hands so they can get these crimes solved.
Sergeant Don Coppola with Crimestoppers is our guest every single Thursday at this time as we try to catch a few bad guys. Charles Ray Johnson was the first one we were looking for, was out in Gonzales. Didn't have a whole lot of detail on that one. The Joseph Green case, this one off of Gardier, has me intrigued as well, because it sounds like this would be one where this is wide out in the open, or out in the wide open. There's potential that a number of people saw what happened there and the opportunity for them to step forward.
Absolutely. And Brian, while I have you, we want to remind people that go check out our Facebook page. We have more than we want as far as unsolved homicides. Go back and visit the Crimestoppers podcast. The holidays are upon us, so what better gift to a family to have that closure of the unfortunate incident of having them lost a family member. So let's help them get that closure. Check out our Facebook page, revisit our Crimestoppers podcast, and get us some information so we can get these cases cleared.
I'm actually looking at your Facebook page right now, and the first few that are up here are not the ones that we just talked about. In fact, there's so much more going on. Check out Crimestoppers. Greater Baton Rouge Crimestoppers would be the Facebook page to go to. In the meanwhile, since you brought up the podcast, I got to ask, how long till another episode?
We are getting something in the works now to get another episode up. So, but please revisit the ones we have. Go back, listen, see if there's any information that you may have, and pick up the phone or the P3 app and get that information to us so we can get it passed on.
In the meanwhile, we will have you back in studio. No, not next week. Next week's Thanksgiving Day. So
Next
it's looking
week is
like
Thanksgiving Day, and I believe you're out the next week.
I am.
So it'll be
second
the
Thursday in
first of next
December.
month.
Yep.
Yes,
it will. He is Don Coppola with Crimestoppers. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Have a good day, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your listeners.
And to you and yours, Don. I always appreciate your time. We got Your Money Now coming your way in 30 seconds. Hey, that Facebook page, man, I'm scrolling through it right now, and there is just a wealth of photographic information, to say the least. And I mean, just like unsolved homicide on North Foster Drive. If you have information regarding the identity of suspects that, let's see, several thefts of alcohol at retail locations, you name it, it's there. Let's get to Your Money Now. come to me cold after your money now. If there's be your money now a spot for your money now at 52 even. Come to me.
Analytics firm Global Data says 49% of us are considering alternatives such as thrift stores or consignment shops. 62% think secondhand apparel gifts are more socially acceptable now than 5 years ago. Grammarly, a startup whose software highlights issues as people write in its web app.
Which one was first, Complete Collision or Mathern's? Okay.
After taking on $200 million in new funding. On Wall Street, futures pointing to a higher open. That's your money now.
Get a jump on planning your meals for those busy work and school nights with Omaha Steaks. They have all your fall grilling covered with easy, delicious, quality meals delivered straight to your door. Go to omahasteaks.com and type quality in the search bar to shop the deluxe grill out assortment. It includes over 30 entrees like the bacon wrapped filet mignons, filet mignon burgers, gourmet jumbo franks, sides, and so much more. Plus, when you use code QUALITY, you'll save over 50% on your order and you'll get 12 free Omaha Steaks burgers. These are basically a steak between buns. Make memories with your family and friends and give them an experience they will truly cherish and order Omaha Steaks. It isn't just steak, it's the best steak of your life, guaranteed. Visit omahasteaks.com, keyword quality, and save over 50% when you order the deluxe grill out assortment. Plus, get 12 free Omaha Steaks burgers and enjoy a delicious meal with the ones you love. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword quality.
We just heard from Sergeant Don Coppola telling you about Crimestoppers' Facebook page. Let me tell you about Mathern's Facebook page as well, and there's good reason for that. We are 1 week away from Thanksgiving Day. Get your orders in now. They are taking catering orders right now at Mathern's, and the order forms are available on their Facebook page. Look for Mathern's Market at LSU. Now, there's two Mathern's. There's one downtown as well. But Nicholson at Skip Burtman Drive, right there on LSU's campus, super convenient if you make your way up or down Nicholson. You just hop on, hop off. But here's the thing. Get your catering orders in. We're 1 week away, and anything from crawfish Alfredo to all the side dishes, the mac and cheese, the broccoli and cheese, the mashed potatoes, the okra and tomatoes, you name it, they've got it. Check it out, Mathern's Market at LSU. Check out their Facebook page right now. If you wanted to give them a call, you can do that as well. Their phone number is 367-6074. We've got 1 week till Thanksgiving Day, so get the orders in now at Mathern's. Something with crawfish and mac and cheese. Delete the traffic, please. We don't need to have an extra minute of spots eating up time. I've got 6 different stories I've got to get to. 2 stories broke overnight, and I'm not... Yeah. .755 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Thanks again to Sergeant Don Coppola for stopping by for Crimestoppers. I appreciate him hopping on the hotline. It's sometimes it could be a little bit difficult to make your way all the way downtown every week. So I'd rather get the information out there than not. We've got a busy installment of The Outside In, so let's not waste any time. Let's get to that now.
It's time to step outside of East Baton Rouge and get inside our surrounding parishes. About time for me to be hitting the old Dusty Trail. Really explore space this time. I mean, really. Yeah. Explore the space. The Outside In, presented by BRPT Lake, with 6 locations and extended hours to fit your needs. BRPT Lake has got you covered. Schedule online now at brptlake.com. The Outside In is coming your way now. Get out of this town, and go where? Where are we gonna go?
We're going to start off in Iberville Parish. Actually, 2 stops in Iberville Parish. First of all, 2 men were shot late Wednesday night on the corner of Dennis Street and Barrow Street in Plaquemine. Iberville Parish Sheriff deputies found 1 victim with gunshot wounds at the scene. Deputies said the second victim showed up at the hospital. Sheriff Brett Stassi says deputies are working to determine if the men shot one another or if they were shot by a third person. Keeping it in Iberville Parish, a traffic stop led to charges for 3 people and the seizure of a myriad of drugs and weapons at an Iberville Parish home. Sheriff's office said the fine stemmed from a traffic stop involving Justin LeBlanc of Belrose. The department said the stop led deputies to obtain a search warrant for the St. Gabriel home of LeBlanc's passenger, Malcolm Oliver. At Oliver's home, what they find? 3 pounds of high-grade marijuana, approximately 16 grams of crack cocaine and oxycodone pills, a 38 caliber pistol. I'm sorry, 238 caliber. No, it's 138 caliber pistol, I guess. A 223 rifle. There was another pistol on scene. 2 9mm pistols as well, an assortment of ammunition. Officials said arrests were the result of a lengthy joint investigation involving the Iberville Parish Narcotics Division, Baton Rouge Police Narcotics Division, and Ascension Parish Narcotics Division. The traffic arrest just got all the wheels in motion. Down in St. Tammany Parish, Will Smith's new movie's being filmed, and you could be a paid extra. According to The Advocate, Central Casting Louisiana is looking for black men aged 18 and older, including those who are amputees, to portray formerly enslaved people who fought in the Civil War as Union soldiers. The extras will be in an epic battle scene. The film follows the story of Whipped Peter, an enslaved man from a Louisiana plantation, a key figure in exposing the brutality of slavery. He was a Union soldier. It's called Sacred Motivation. They'll be filming in Bush, which is just north of Covington. In Livingston Parish, Hurricane Ida cleanup, which has topped 1 million cubic yards of debris, will pause tomorrow, according to the Livingston Parish Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. They will resume that pickup on December 6th. Debris pickup has been ongoing since the storm cleared out. Over to West Baton Rouge, Port Allen. Mr. Willie was a beloved pig who died unexpectedly Monday from natural cause, not from natural causes, but from a bullet instead. Apparently somebody shot Mr. Willie, the beloved pig, over in Port Allen. Closing out in New Orleans, the Saints are going to honor future Hall of Famer Drew Brees at halftime of the Thanksgiving Day game in the Superdome 1 week from tonight. The team announced yesterday that Brees, who retired from professional football after last season, will be present at the stadium for the ceremony. Brees now works as a sportscaster. He'll also be commentating the game alongside Mike Tirico. Fans in attendance at the Superdome will also be given commemorative Thank You, Drew rally towels. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to this, because it's still burned in my brain that as Drew Brees left the field for the last time in the Superdome, turned around, looked back, and just saw an empty crowd. An empty stadium. Number 9 deserved better than that, and he will get it Thursday night, Thanksgiving night in the Dome. That is The Outside In, presented by Baton Rouge Physical Therapy. You can check them out at brptlake.com, brptlake.com. Get back to being your best you physically with Baton Rouge Physical Therapy. Here comes CBS News. I'm not reading this damn book. Yeah. I'll do traffic in my complete collision center before tossing to you for this day in history. YouTube, I apologize, y'all. This has been a butthole of a morning, and I'm not been able to interact at all. I feel bad about that. What the Yeah, go ahead. .805 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Jake producing. We're going to get you to this day in history in just a little bit. Hey, yesterday the first oil and gas lease since the Biden administration put in a moratorium on oil and gas leases. Yesterday was the first sale. How'd that play out for Louisiana? How's that looking for Louisiana? Mike Moncla from the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association slated to join us in our next segment to talk about it. Also this hour, we're going to talk with Mike Fruge from JT Mellick. Your favorite vodka is now making whiskey. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. I would prefer to, sample it, but I'll deal with what I got. Mike Fruge coming up later on this hour. We are going to get you to this day in history in just a little bit. I do apologize. We've had computer issues this morning. Traffic reports have not really been a thing. I've been kind of handling them on the fly, so I will do that now. Actually, shout out to Wendy who texted in. There's a wreck on I-10 East just past the Gonzales exit. A wreck on I-10 East just past the Gonzales exit. So if you're heading towards New Orleans or any point between here and New Orleans on I-10, expect some slowdowns as a result of that wreck. We're also looking at a wreck on I-10 East at Dalrymple Drive. BRPD is on the scene of that one. And interstate-wise, as far as delays are concerned, we're actually looking better now than we were an hour or so ago on I-12, but everywhere else has tightened up a good bit. You will still find delays on I-12, especially before, where is this? Well, it's looking like from Millerville or from Denham up to Millerville. After that, it picks up a little bit before getting back to the 10-12 split. I-10 westbound is slow going, approaching the 10-12 split as well. You're going to see a number of delays on 10 around College, around Acadian, leading up to that accident I just told you about. Well, actually, the accident's eastbound. The delays are westbound. Also, 10 eastbound, backing up over the Mississippi River Bridge at a stop-and-go coming into town. If you're coming in from Port Allen, you can expect delays up to the Lobdell exit, and then from basically Highway 1 until you get across the bridge if you're on 10 eastbound. Surface Street-wise, look out for an accident. Sherwood at Tams, and nope, that one's in the parking lot. Florida at Peachtree as well, another accident being worked. So that's your look at traffic. Before we get you to this day in history, speaking of traffic, if you find yourself in an accident, you might need the help of the folks over at Complete Collision Center. They've got two locations. One's on Plank Road in Zachary. The other is on Perkins, just east of Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. I tell you about Complete Collision Center every day. They are certified by just about everybody under the sun. A dozen major manufacturers certify them. Yes, the people who make the cars, they take it to Complete Collision to get fixed. But they also have the iCar Gold Class certification. That puts them in the top 15% of collision repair businesses nationwide. That means they'll meet the industry's highest standard for training, trained on the latest repair techniques, knowing what can be repaired, what needs to be replaced, that is important, and how to spot hidden damage as well. They're trained on advanced safety systems. They know how to make the proper decisions for complete and safe repairs. They train because the safety of your family, safety of my family, it's important to them. You can learn more at CompleteCollision.com, CompleteCollision.com. Call them if you're in an accident, 768-9898, 768-9898, or check them out online. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out CompleteCollision.com. All right, time for this day in history. Jake, what you got?
We're starting things off. 1307. William Tell apparently shoots apple off of his son's head.
I don't believe that.
I feel like, I don't know. You think they really had that recorded of history, 1307? Like they could record that well?
He didn't post it on TikTok. It didn't happen.
Pixar didn't happen. Not in my book. 1928, Walt Disney's Steamboat Willie is released. First Mickey Mouse sound cartoon. We're going to move on to 1978. In Jonestown, 918 members of the People's Temple are murdered or commit suicide under the leadership of cult leader Jim Jones. Good Lord. Insane.
You're saying that like it's the first you've heard about it.
I mean, I've heard of it, but like it's still bizarre to hear nearly 1,000 people simultaneously died. Like,
yeah.
Whether it was, intentional
and to believe we use the phrase drink the Kool-Aid all the time. Like it's nothing. Like, yeah. That's the genesis of that phrase. Drinking the Kool-Aid. Following the cult. Really? Yes. That's how they died. They drank tainted Kool-Aid on purpose.
Huh. Learn something new every day. 1997, Metallica releases the album Reload. You a Metallica guy?
I'm not familiar with Reload.
Me neither.
Enter Sandman was
What is
good.
Metallica?
One was a really good album.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Black Album was.
I know that.
Legendary.
2011, video game Minecraft is officially released by Mojang. For those who don't know, that is the highest-selling video game of all time. It is exactly 10 years old on this day. Also, fun fact, I played this game before it was fully released, the beta version, back when it was like nothing. Moving swiftly along, 2000.
You played the beta version?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was just, it's like 10 blocks, no mobs, no day and night cycles.
I have no idea what anything you just said.
Anyone my age or younger will probably get it.
Probably. I've heard of Minecraft.
Yeah, for those tuning in, it was back when it was like 10 blocks, all you could do was build. That was about it. No animals, no nothing. 2015, speaking of animals, Kangaroo Dundee, wildlife TV series premieres featuring Brolga and Roger, the ripped kangaroo on BBC Two. You seen the picture of that kangaroo?
No.
Thing is jacked. I think the power lift probably like 1,000 pounds. It's ridiculous.
It's on the BBC?
BBC Two.
Oh, not even on the big BBC.
No, just the second.
So, making the cut today is something on a second-rate British TV station.
It's a ripped kangaroo, man. I gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, it's not on par with the crocodile rule, but it's a big old kangaroo. Like, come on. If you saw a picture of this thing,
that's
you'd
the
be
point.
talking about it
no,
too.
but that's the point. Show me a picture.
You want me to?
Well, not right now.
Not
we'll
now,
do it during break. But, I mean, without visual, this is an auditory format.
I know. Well, for those tuning in, if you are not driving, you should definitely look this kangaroo up. It's ridiculous. That's all the events I have. Do you got any for me before I move on to birthdays?
No, I had Jonestown.
Ah, yes. Well, I only have one birthday. There was very few that I found, at least, that I would say qualify. But the only birthday I have to mention, Owen Wilson, 53.
Wow. Wow.
You owe me a
He
soda.
made her.
Oh, wow.
My Owen Wilson sounds like Kermit the Frog. I'm just going to stop.
they're kinda
That's your
similar.
only birthday today?
Yeah, I couldn't find much else.
Oh, Warren Moon?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. He's in the NFL Hall of Fame. Longtime Oilers quarterback, one of the best of all time, which is what puts him in the Hall of Fame. Gary Sheffield. Gary Sheffield's birthday today. Longtime Major League Baseball player. Poppy? David Ortiz?
I know that name.
Yeah. I was on hand for David Ortiz's 498th home run and missed by 3 feet the 499th. As he was closing in on 500, I was in Boston for a conference when I was working at Blink Jar, and 498 left the yard. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mike Epps' birthday today. Comedian Mike Epps and Oscar Nunez. You know who Oscar Nunez is?
No.
You ever watch The Office?
A little bit.
Okay.
I'm not a fanatic like a lot of people are.
Well, he's in that very underrated comedic actor, Oscar Nunez.
Happy birthday to all those mentioned. I got no deaths to mention. Let's get right to the holidays. First up, National Princess Day. Happy day to all the princesses out there.
What?
I don't know. It's National Princess
No, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you have National Princess Day on the day that Steamboat Willie comes out? Like, when you think princesses, you think Disney.
Well,
Normally,
you're assuming
right?
Disney made the holiday.
I am.
I mean, I would assume the same thing, but did they? I don't know. That's a takeaway for everybody at home or driving or wherever you're doing, Well, it's Minnie Mouse's birthday. Also, happy birthday to her.
It's Minnie Mouse's birthday?
And Mickey Mouse's birthday.
Yeah. Oh, I think
Use
my next
less-
interview just called my cell phone instead of calling the hotline.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Well, it's also Use Less Stuff Day. It's a very... I don't know what to say about that. That's just kind of a dumb-sounding holiday. And finally... Well, no, I already said it. Well, actually, no, this is technically a different category, but it's Mickey Mouse Day. It's Mickey's birthday. It's also Mickey Mouse Day. That is this day in history.
All right, quick break. When we come back, Mike Moncla from the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association hops on board next. Hey, Mike, it's Brian. Sorry about that. We were still in the segment before yours. I was me calling during the break. So, oh yeah, no worries at all. It happens literally every day. So, hang tight. Coming your way in just a sec. Thanks. All right, let's hop in here. What's good, YouTube? I need to finally get dialed in. Eesh. Looks like the last thing we really talked about on YouTube was the interview with Tim Temple. Boy, he was good, wasn't he? So here's the thing. Like, I don't normally endorse candidates, especially not in a race that's going to be 2.5 more years away. But he's going to be a valuable resource to move the conversation forward when it comes to the next insurance commissioner's race. He started a really, really good conversation last time around. Just let it play. I'm over it at this point. And I've got to run downstairs at the 35 break to get my information on the damn. How long do I have here? Okay. .818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So, the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management held lease sale 257 yesterday, if you're scoring at home. Not to be confused with 256 or the hopefully soon to come 258. What does that mean for Louisiana? What does it mean to even have the sale to begin with, and what kind of revenue are we talking about here? I can think of nobody better to call about this than the head of the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association. He is Mike Moncla. He joins us right now. Mike, welcome back. How are you, sir? Mike, are you there? Let's drop him back on hold. If you wouldn't mind picking up the phone and seeing if he's there, Jake.
Mike, you there? Hello?
He's gone? All right. Well, we're going to have to regroup then. I mean, why not, right? Give me just a second, y'all. I'm going to get Mike's information over to Jake so that Jake can call and get him hooked back up again. Just a second. I just texted you his number. Give him a call back, please. Hey, actually, that gives me a chance to go ahead and get caught up about what's going on over at Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. I was looking at the clock thinking I was going to run out of time on this one, but no. If you are in need of a new mattress, Black Friday sales are already underway at the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet, both locations, 4065 Florida Boulevard or the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2. What do we get with the Black Friday sale? Well, right now, get yourself a name brand queen size mattress for just $399. $399. This is normally $899. $899 marked down to $399. You're talking $500 off of the original price here. Kings are $549.99, originally $1,100. The twin gel memory foam mattress just $119, and the pillow package deal is $99. Now, the queen mattress is the optimal deal here. If you have a queen size bed, this is what you want to roll with. But also, if you mention you heard about it right here on Talk 107.3 FM, you will not only get free delivery, but a free pillow as well. Free delivery, free pillow, $500 off your name brand queen size mattress. The Black Friday sale is going on right now. Oh, by the way, you do need to mention that you heard about it here in order to get Black Friday pricing before Black Friday. Either location, 4065 Florida Boulevard or the corner of Jefferson and Houchitou for the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. All right, we are now joined by Mike Moncla from the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association. Mike, welcome aboard. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Brian. Thanks for having me today.
No, glad to have you on here. This is a big day. This is good news. I guess yesterday was actually the big day. But this is good news. We've seen movement in the moratorium. Does this mean a temporary stay or an end to the moratorium and back to business?
Well, it looks like, Jeff Landry went to bat for industry, and we are certainly appreciative of Jeff's efforts. It's, I guess, up to the president whether he wants to, I guess he can appeal this, but as the court, I guess the lower court was on Jeff's side on this one, so we're good right now.
Now, the Attorney General's lawsuit is actually still active right now. The lawsuit against the Biden ban continues, says the press release from Jeff Landry's office. So, and that's kind of, I guess, where I'm going with this is, are we looking at a one and done until further notice? Is this going to take further litigation to keep Louisiana oil and gas in business?
Well, as far as Gulf of Mexico, it may.
Yeah.
But, I think when you look at the downward spiral that Biden's economy is in right now, I hope he doesn't fight this anymore. The whole nation is paying more at the pump, paying more for everything. So I think he may have learned something. I don't know.
Is this simply a matter of you could take ideals and watch them play out, and it's like, no, let them learn?
Well, there's a side of me when I think about, what his ideals are. He might want this, man. He might want $80, $100 oil. He may want everyone paying at the pump because his end game goal is to everyone to be mad at oil and gas. And, everyone want green. Everybody want electric. Everybody want to get away from fossil fuels. So maybe this is his way of doing it to America.
The problem with that, and well, there's a multitude of problems with that, but one of them is the price of an electric vehicle will be nowhere near affordable to the everyday driver if we push too hard for that. There would be no reason to drop the price of an electric vehicle because demand would be so high that you could basically hijack the entire market. That's neither here nor there. That's not why I have you on. I want to talk about this lease sale. I want to talk about the good news that went down yesterday. What kind of revenue are we talking about for the state from yesterday's sale?
I'm not exactly sure of what Louisiana's take would be from the onset. I know that 33 companies bid on 1.7 million acres, and they raised just under $200 million in the sale. So the article I read, said that the Gulf states share in some of those revenues, but I'm not sure if it's, after they start drilling it, it's royalty revenue, or if we actually get a percent of the sale. I would imagine we get it from the royalty side.
The acreage that's out there, does that mean new wells, more wells, uncapping old wells? How does this work?
Well, it's new acreage that's never been for sale before. So, when a lease sale like this happens, there's a lot of investigation that these companies are going to go through now. So they're going to do seismic reading, seismic tests of 3D, 4D seismic. They'll get all that done. They'll have geologist teams. So, a lot of times you won't see a well drilled on a new lease for a couple of years. It's a lot. And then you got to get a drilling rig out there, which there are very few remaining. You get a drilling rig, you drill the well. If you make a well, then you got to figure transport. Is there a pipeline nearby you can, do a pipe, connect another pipeline to get it to the shore, or do you need a tanker? So there's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just, boom, we're going to be drilling tomorrow.
Mike Moncla from the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association is our guest. We're talking about yesterday's lease sale and the close to $200 million that was generated overall from it. Mike, I got to ask you about the one of the things that we hear about quite regularly when looking at the oil and gas industry overall, and you mentioned a little bit moving towards electric, but is the the environmental impact, I've heard on a number of occasions that, for lack of a better phrasing, and I know I'm oversimplifying, Louisiana has cleaner oil than the rest of the world. How does that, first of all, how does that work? And secondly, do we? Mike, did we lose you again?
I got you.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, when hearing it from an environmental standpoint, and we've heard this from Garrett Graves, and we've heard it from Senator Bill Cassidy as well, Louisiana is reported to have cleaner oil than the rest of the world. How does that play out? How and why do we have cleaner oil than the rest of the world?
It's just the grade of fossil fuel that we have in the earth. It's just a different, when you manufacture, or when you refine it rather, it's a cleaner burning oil than other parts of the world. I mean, Saudi Arabia's oil is very carbon rich. It's a lot dirtier than Louisiana or Gulf of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. And is that based off of what comes out of the earth, or is it based on the way we handle it once it's out of the earth?
No, it's based on what's in the earth.
I find that fascinating, because it's just of all the natural resources that we have, the thought that we're sitting on top of something better. Uncharted acreage so far. What does that mean for the old acreage? Is there some kind of, like, for lack of a better term, I don't want to call it crop rotation, but is there some kind of rotation for what we tap into?
Well, the oil and gas business as a whole, I mean, anytime you own a field, it's depleting every day.
Right.
So, as older fields get retired, or they've depleted their resources, we'll always need replacement fields to make up for what's getting retired.
And as far as making up ground is concerned, how far has this moratorium set us back so far?
Well, like I said, it's not anything where it's boom, we're drilling tomorrow. So it's pushed back, but I think there's still leases out there that we're going to be able to that were bought 2-3 years ago that are now going to come to fruition. So it was a negative step. It was certainly demoralizing the industry, but I think we're moving in the right direction right now.
You had put out a statement thanking the Attorney General originally before this lease sale even happened. If you can, just the actions here, I don't think have played out publicly as much as they should have. How much has gone into this effort to get where we are today?
Jeff and I, we speak probably once a month. Don't talk to him all that often, but he did. His office contacted me earlier in the week and asked me if I could make the press conference, and I actually had a conflict, so we just put our press release out. But no, he's done a great job. He's always been a supporter of oil and gas, and we're going to keep tugging on him as we need him, because we will certainly need him going forward with this administration.
Absolutely, and good news yesterday with the lease sale, and kind of depressing to hear that it might be a one and done for the short term. In the meanwhile, we appreciate the update. We appreciate the information. Thank you so much for hopping on board.
Anytime, Brian.
Absolutely. He is Mike Moncla with the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association. Yesterday's lease sale, a temporary, at least, break in the moratorium. We'll see if it leads to more from there. Let's see. I had a number here. He said close to $200 million. Senator Cassidy's office put out a press release citing $192 million as the specific number. Senator Cassidy said, quote, "This is a massive win for the U.S. energy industry and for the Gulf, one of the lowest carbon intensity oil producing regions in the world. If the administration is committed to lowering greenhouse gas emissions, they ought to be doing more to facilitate oil and gas development in the United States." That's from Senator Bill Cassidy. Yeah, we've heard it a couple times now, where we just have a better product. And as you heard Mike Moncla say, it comes out of the earth as a better product to begin with. And then we have better oversight over how we handle an already better product, which to me feels like we should be miles down the road from what we would otherwise import from a place where we don't have that oversight, where we can't have any say over the, carbon intensity? Anyway, we're going to check news here in just a minute. Talk 107.3 is giving you a chance to enjoy a true Louisiana staycation on us at either the Renaissance or Watermark hotels, simply take our staycation survey at talk1073.com. Talk1073.com, and you can win a stay at the Watermark or the Renaissance hotels. Take the staycation survey now. All right. I'll be back, y'all.
Prosecutors argue there's no evidence justifying the chase or the deadly encounter, and that there was never an attempt to make a citizen's arrest.
Day 3 of deliberations today in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. He's accused of shooting down 2 men and the wounding of a third during protests last year in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Scott Carpenter, his own furniture store burned down during last year's protests.
I pray that it stays peaceful, that cooler heads will prevail, and we realize that burning down our town is not how that had.
Jobless claims are down.
Initial unemployment claim filings came in a little bit higher than expected, but was enough to squeak out the 7th weekly decline in a row.
That's Greg McBride of Bankrate.com. CBS News Brief. I'm Ruthie Kenya. Good morning. I'm Michelle Sutter in the Talk 107.3 Baton Rouge newsroom. The State Department of Health recommends if you're fully vaccinated and over 18, get that COVID-19 booster shot.
State Health Officer Dr. Joe Cantor tells us that the upcoming holidays and expected family gatherings are prompting the recommendation.
With cases going up elsewhere in the country, with holiday gatherings approaching, we don't want families to be at risk.
The boosters are available to those who have the full vaccination regimen, whether from Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson. Ask for where to get your booster.
The exact same places that you went to get your initial dose or any other vaccine provider.
And Dr. Cantor says the boosters are free of charge and any type can be obtained regardless of what brand of COVID vaccine originally received. I'm Dave Brennan.
The March of Dimes has issued its annual report card for preterm births, and Louisiana received an F. Medical Director of the Louisiana Perinatal Quality Collaborative, Dr. Veronica Gillespie Bell.
But at the same time, I think that for me, it is inspirational and it lights a fire under us to do better for our moms and to do better for our babies.
Today is the annual Great American Smokeout, an effort to encourage smokers to kick the habit. Kenneth Saucier with the Office of Behavioral Health says if you'd like to quit, simply call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
They can get assistance there, they can get free coaching, as well as they can reach out to the Office of Behavioral Health. We can direct them to local resources that are free.
You can also visit quitwithusla.org for more smoking cessation resources. The East Baton Rouge Parish School System announced recently
Yeah, they should be.
decline we're seeing in COVID cases continues. The mask mandate for teachers and students won't be lifted until January. Face coverings will become optional after the Christmas break. If you got an appointment with Baton Rouge OMG, you may need to reschedule because they announced Wednesday evening that due to precautions related to COVID, that location will remain closed until further notice. You can check the status at expresslane.org, where there are also lots of services you can knock out online. That's news. Michelle Sutter, Talk 107.3, Baton Rouge.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like
I don't know.
Prudential, American General, and others.
If this guy doesn't call in, we might.
Best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. For your free quote, call 1-800-519-0449. That's 1-800-519-0449. Or go to selectquote.com. That's 1-800-519-0449. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. All right. Depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Attorney Peyton Murphy
837, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. So, if you've listened to this show for any amount of time, you know that I'm a huge fan of JT Mellick's vodka. It's fantastic. It's clean. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it, actually. And it's just a very, very good product, and it's a wonderful local product from a local distiller, a Louisiana distiller. Well, now JT Mellick is getting in the whiskey game, too. So take the love of my favorite vodka, add the passion of whiskey, and oh my, it's Katie Bar, the door for the holiday season. Joining us now is Mike Fruge from JT Mellick. Michael Fruge, welcome aboard, sir. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again.
No, glad to have you on. Glad to have you back on. Glad to be talking about this. For those that missed the last time around, we got to start with the story, because the reason y'all got into spirits at all is just, it's a fascinating story. It's talking about making use of available resources and all that. So let's reset the table. How did JT Mellick get into the vodka making business to begin with?
Well, my family settled in South Louisiana in the late 1800s, and we've been farming rice on the ground here since that time. Over the years, price of rice goes up and down, and whatever. My brother and I found ourselves in a position to be able to try to experiment a little bit and try to add value to our rice crop. And we thought about all sorts of things. I'm not quite sure how we settled on spirits, but nonetheless, here we are. I guess about 5 years ago, actually, it all sort of came together, and I made up my mind to go try. And we went and we made some product. And we originally, of course, made the vodka.
Yeah.
And we're so impressed with it, we decided to, take the gamble to bring it to market. And here we are. So
the vodka is, first of all, it's a great product with a great pricing point, and if you're purchasing that vodka, you are helping a Louisiana distiller, you are helping a Louisiana-based business. And you're purchasing it not based off of that, but based off of the quality of the product itself. But moving from vodka to whiskey is a completely different game. What made y'all want to do this?
Well, that's a complex answer, but I'll try to simplify it. I mean, in the spirits world, the brown spirits get more attention. They are more interesting. You can get more creative. When you make vodka, you got to, there's sort of one path to get to the vodka, and the grain gives you what it gives you. But with whiskey, you can make a lot of decisions. You can decide what barrel you want to put it in, all sorts of different things. And we originally made vodka and whiskey side by side. The clear spirit coming off the still, but of course with whiskey you got to wait 2, 3, 4. We didn't know how long we were going to have to wait to get a really good whiskey. And we put whiskey down in barrels, 4.5 years ago, and we're just now starting to see the fruits of that. So, the whiskey is really our flagship product, even though we have a great vodka as well. So,
what can we expect from a taste perspective?
Well, I think the nose on it is incredible. That's probably the thing that people will notice first. I think it just has an amazing nose. Rice, if anybody cooks, if you're a cook out there, you make rice and gravy. Rice sort of enhances whatever you put it in, and it takes on whatever you put it in. So rice enhances the barrel. That's the best way I can explain it. It absorbs the flavors of that barrel like no other grain. If you try to put gravy on corn, you don't quite get the same effect if you understand what I mean. And we didn't know this when we started. This was a huge gamble. There's no other rice whiskey on the planet. That's really why we did this. I said, well, there's got to be a reason why it hasn't been done before. I didn't know what that reason might be, but I haven't found it yet, because I think we got an amazing whiskey. We've done blind tastings against other national brands, and I was holding my breath when we were sitting in the room. And we we won hands down in these blind tastings. It's pretty incredible. So
Are there comparables here? Or are there something we can look at, like a different kind of, like a rye or a bourbon to match up what rice whiskey is going to taste like, or to give us an idea before it gets here?
I don't know what to. I mean, it doesn't not compare to anything, and it doesn't. You know, the nose on it is caramel, vanilla, just really rich flavors.
Mm-hmm.
You can drink it neat. You can mix it in a cocktail. Makes the best Manhattan you ever had. You're going to sit there and you're going to drink it side by side with your favorite bourbon. I guess it's on the sweeter side of things, if there's such a thing. I wouldn't call it a sweet whiskey. It has no sugar added. I don't want to misinform anybody.
Right.
Crown Royal's a very popular whiskey, to mix at the football game or something, or whatever. And it kind of goes in that direction a little bit, but much deeper, much richer, darker color, just much more depth. It's hard to compare it to one particular brand because I don't want to sort of stamp it with that.
What kind of proof are we looking at on this?
The proof on this, the release that we're doing right now, by the way, is a very limited release. This was our original experimental batch.
Okay.
We only have 15 barrels of this, and we're only releasing half of it because we got to keep the rest of it to sort of continue the aging experiment. But this is going to be released at 96 proof. Our main release of our production whiskey, if you will come out next May, and it'll also be 96 proof.
Does that come with a little bit of heat to it?
Well, we want to give everybody their money's worth. They can always add water. And it'll actually be 96 proof in the bottle. So it's I want it to be straight out the bottle. If somebody wants it to be some campfire whiskey, you can do that with it. If you want to mix it and you want to tone it down, you can add water, and it'll cover the full spectrum that way.
You got to try it first. You got to go all in first before we're knowing
absolutely.
where you're at. Okay, so limited release. Where will folks be able to find it? I would assume we all have our favorite local outlets. Will this have to go through y'all, or will we be able to find it in Baton Rouge?
So we're just literally today delivering the cases to the distributor. The way the spirits industry works, you have to work through a distributor. You can't deliver it yourself.
Right.
As soon as those cases start getting delivered and we can have confirmation that they're physically in the stores, we'll start posting those names on our website. But, some of the people that have supported the vodka brand is Calandros, Mathern's, Albertsons, Bocage Supermarket off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Those places will get an allotment, I'm sure, unless they turn it down. But we'll update a live, posting on the website. So people should go to jtmillick.com to see where the product is. I would expect, we'll start to get some information posted, hopefully by tomorrow, certainly by Monday.
The first batch coming out next week, in stores next week. The second one, you said May of 2022. If we miss out this time around, we got to wait till May.
Yeah, that's correct. This was, as I said, this was an experimental batch. That's the thing about whiskey. You have to wait.
Right.
You don't know what you're going to get. And I made a batch of it, and I thought I was going to wait, and then I realized, well, I'm going to have to wait, 2 years before I have any idea if this is going to be any good or not. And I said, what am I going to do then? Start making it? So we made a sort of a quick about face. 6 months later, we started just making whiskey and putting it away, having no idea what we were going to end up with, if that makes sense. If you want to go make bourbon, there's a lot of recipes and there's a lot of information if you want to make rice whiskey, and that's this is a whole new category that I think will stand up side by side with any favorite national brand. I don't care what it costs. I think people will be impressed with it. They should go out and check it out.
Yeah, clearly bourbon, you've got a template there. You're not breaking
Right.
new ground, but rice whiskey, especially when it comes to the aging process, and you said about 4.5 years in on this one?
Correct. We took our time. We could have released some product probably 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't ready. Some other distillers, lots of distillers across the country, thousands of them actually, they make the mistake of releasing their brown spirit too soon because they're trying to, get it into the marketplace and, run their business. And we were very, very patient. Tested this every 6 months for the last 4.5 years before we finally said, okay, this is ready. This is not just some little, I don't know what to call it, but some little extra thing. This is a very, very special whiskey.
Got about 30 seconds left with Mike Fruge. I got to ask, is there still more that's going to be like an extended aging process? Like as this experiment continues, will we see like a 6-year or longer?
We'll definitely see a 6-year and longer. We're going to let these, like the original release is going to continue to age another 2 years, and we'll continue to test it. I don't know how far out we'll go. It's hard to say at this point, but we have older barrels that will continue to age. We might even have some super old stuff later on, but that'll just take time.
He is Mike Fruge with JT Mellick. During this segment, I was texting the folks at Mathern's to make sure I'm in as well. Mike, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the time and how much I'm looking forward to the product.
Hey, we thank you so much for having us on. It's awesome to get us out there to the public. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely,
you guys have
man.
a great day.
You do the exact same, and a happy Thanksgiving to you next week. And if you don't know the vodka, check it out. It's a beautiful label. It's a clean vodka. It's a borderline sweet vodka. It's fantastic stuff. He is Mike Fruge with JT Mellick Distillers. We're late for your money now. Oh, man. Wow. Okay. I'm pumped up about this. 96 proof foreign. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be spicy. But it's rice. Okay, so he was saying there's nothing like this, but there's nothing like this in America. There's Japanese rice whiskeys that are like, they're clean. They're smooth. They don't crush your palate. They don't make you think like you're drinking fire. So I do want one more governor's cut. And that is cut 4. Yeah, better lucky than good. Oh, I need to forward you the email from that one, so... Ooh. Here, I'll just text it to you. The image to use for this. Yeah. Yeah.
The news you want when you want it from the news team you trust.
Stuart, my guy, on it. Texting Tony right now. Actually, I texted my sister.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is open for business and ready to serve our customers with disaster relief employee pricing for those.
Oh, well, do I want to switch games today? I'd rather.
All new Bayou Ford Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicles come with a 1,000,000-mile powertrain warranty. Located on I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you. Phew, I had a bad dream last night. Girl, me too. I was out on a date with Matthew McConaughey. Oh, that doesn't sound too bad. But literally, all he could say was, all right, all right, all right.
Oh. Now it's downloaded. Now I can text it to you. Or no, I can't. What the shit, dude? A picture that I thought I downloaded. It's not in my camera roll, though. Here. Hang on. There's, oh, no, I don't want that. I want your guarantee. We're good. I just sent you the link to the email that was sent to me. I sent you the email. I forwarded the email that was sent to me. Within there is a link to the pictures. There's one where they're putting the sticker on the bottle. That's the one I want to go along with. 856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Last segment to go here. That was a busy break right there. Just texting to get in on the JT Medlick on a buddy of mine texted, said we got to get in on this brown swamp water together. Okay, I'm all in. I'm a little bit fired up. Rice whiskey. I know Mike was saying that there's no comps over here. But there are a few Japanese whiskeys that I believe are rice whiskeys. So, they don't have the burn that you have from a lot of the stronger bourbons. I'm looking forward to this one. Hey, before we get out of here, I got to revisit Ask the Governor one more time because this is something that that shouldn't be forgotten. In fact, it's called the Never Forget Garden. Last week for Veterans Day. The governor did a little a memorial service, if you will, over at the Never Forget Garden on the state capitol grounds. And he talked about that. A caller, I believe it was James in Longview, Texas, who calls the show literally every single month, asked about the garden itself and what brought it about, what went into it. And here's what the governor had to say. Cut 4.
the Never Forget Garden. It is new. It is a new addition to the Veterans Memorial Park that's run by the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs. This is the old Arsenal Park, right on the east side of the state capitol, and the theme of that is very consistent with the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. We should never ever forget those who served, and especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice. I encourage everybody to go by and look at that, and there are other monuments there as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful park.
Okay, I'm in. I'm gonna have to go check that out. It's always great to take, like, on a weekend or something, take the family down to the state capitol, kind of walk around the grounds, just roam around. It's beautiful grounds to begin with. The Arsenal Park, also very fantastic. Climb the little hills, see the cannon, the whole works. The thought that there's something new going on over there, yeah, I'm in. See you there. Absolutely. All right, that is going to do it for the show today. You got the Fox News Rundown coming up next, followed by Brian Kilmeade, followed by Dave Ramsey, followed by Jay Ducote. Don't forget LSU women's basketball coming up tonight, 6 o'clock, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Kim Mulkey's team is on the road at UL Lafayette. Over on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, you will find the LSU men hosting McNeese tonight. I believe that tip-off is for 7 p.m. And, yeah, basketball's in full swing now with just 2 weeks to go in the regular football season. It's time to start to shift the focus to Kim Mulkey and General Wade, as it were. So we'll be back at it tomorrow morning. Haggai Davis will be in for a cup of tech gumbo. I believe we're going to talk some broadband as well. We'll see you then. All right. YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking it out. I know it was a bumpy show, and there was not a lot of interaction today. I apologize for that. Sometimes the what Clarence used to call them, the gremlins in the system take over. Anyway, thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow.